I'm begging for Cash Apps episode because I know that's what y'all want to see. That's what y'all want to hear. So let me deliver to you what you want. All right. Sarcasm aside, guys, make sure you hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. Again, that's STRINGERBELL80 on Cash App. Make sure you support this channel. I cannot tell you after being demonetized, after what 3 weeks after I'd started, well, that's a whole nother story. But basically, I set up my monetization to be partnered with AdSense, and got flagged down because of a Kanye West video that I put up. Kind of not in regards of sympathizing, but throwing out some obvious facts that were going on at the time. So this is the Begging for Cash Apps episode. Guys, make sure you donate $STRINGERBELL80. I figured I'd do it like this because, hey, that's what you're going to say anyway, right? So as we're talking about Kanye West has deleted his Instagram. Now, there's two ways I feel about this, and there's a whole bunch of this too to unpack. So, guys, make sure you listen. And then I'm going to swing forth and I'm going to go into King Payne, Jaguar, Wright, and finally Carl Ralph. I think he needs a lot of attention. I think a lot of you vloggers are not showing him his due diligence or the intentions. This little boy could have been your son, nephew, cousin, etc. Starting off with this, Kanye West deleted his Instagram today, and a lot of people are trying to figure out why he deleted his Instagram. And a lot of people think he deactivated his Instagram because he was running for something, or it could be because of this. See, it was a particular man. I'm not going to say his name here because I don't want his name funneling through the algorithm. See, I know how YouTube really works, but this particular gentleman has been accused of soliciting, and I want to say this correctly, soliciting young boys for photos of themselves naked. This was a man that priorly had been around in the aspects or the realm of what you want to call the political realm for a number of years. And all of a sudden, once he's part of Kanye West's, if you want to say entourage or employment or whatever the case may be, well, now he's being brought up on these charges. Now, could it be a play? Of course it could. Most things nowadays are politically motivated, clout chasing motivated, you name it. This is the world we live in. But what brought me up with that was this. It seemingly happened a day before these accusations were put out there, a day before Kanye today deactivated his his Instagram. Now he hasn't deactivated his Twitter. I checked. He hasn't deactivated another place where you can find Kanye, and I'm not going to tell you where that place is. Well, second thing is this. Kanye West, surprisingly enough, has not been seen for the better part of, let's say, almost 2 months now. We haven't seen him publicly except for a couple photos here and there that are pointing him out. And you could see him with his now, I guess, wife. Shout out to her. She seems like a nice girl. And one thing, importantly enough, she's kept Kanye away from social media, which Kim Kardashian apparently couldn't, not even with a phone call. But I digress. As I said, one of the things that I say, and I just want to say this to Kanye West as being a musician, being someone that knows people that have been around you, etc., etc., etc. And I'm going to move on from this story. I want to say this to you, Kanye, because I think a lot of people don't know this. Um, I think Kanye West needs to come out with a new single and quickly. I saw something that he dropped with Drake. It seems like something that was recorded a while ago and he just decided to release it. No, I mean, you need to come out with a single now, right now. You need to dispel all types of rumors about you and everything else, and you can do it with a song. But what I want you to do is, I want you to do one thing while you're making that song: make it make sense. And if you're really smart, say what you want to about the man. I think you need to partner up with Jay again. And this is why I'm going to tell you this. I think if you come out solo on your own right now and you drop a single, it's not going to be embraced. But if you drop something with this, I mean, a minuscule Jay-Z on the hook, Jay-Z somewhere on this, it's going to take people in a whole different direction. And what do I mean by that? Well, they're going to associate Jay more with the project than they are you. And you'll look like the little brother that's just running along for the ride. Plus, not to mention, this past weekend, somewhere that I know of, that a lot of people else don't know of, shout out to my man K2 that was actually there. Jay-Z performed somewhere, and he performed a lot of the songs that you two created on Watch the Throne. So that goes to let you know that Jay's still in your corner somewhat. So I think you need to reach out to Jay if you haven't already. And I think you need to create something, to co-create something with him that you could throw out. Now, is Jay with that? I think he is, because as I said, once again, shout out to my boy K. He was somewhere in the world. I'm going to say that, in the world. Shout out to Atlantic Records up there. He was somewhere in the world and he got to see Jay perform. And so with that being said, I'll say this to you, Kanye. I think that what the world was thinking of you initially, or whatever the case may be, has come to pass. I think most people that are the real legitimate fans are not worried about what you said anymore, because what they're finding under their own investigations, a lot of the things that you're saying are correct. Moving on, and I'm talking in the scheme of ownership before they try to come at me. Ownership. See, the key question here was ownership, and that's why one of those videos, and why I'm pointing it out, because one of the videos that I put up that was basically the purpose of my channel getting demonetized, and now I'm having to beg for Cashapps. $ STRINGERBELL80. Make sure you guys hit that up, support the channel. It was all in a perplexed, how can I say it, follow the leader type road. See, a lot of people don't have their own opinions. Moving on from Kanye West, I want to say this. Shout out to King Pain. I want to say shout out to King Pain. I was actually last night on his live. Miss Foster sent it to me. She was in there along on the ride. Guys, give me 1 second here, because I'm not talking about anything salacious or anything like that. So, you know, you have to talk about things that are salacious here when you're talking about premium black news. Give me a second, guys. Let me get something to drink. Hold up. You gotta remember, they're not gonna want to listen to you. And that's why I said, don't worry about those followers. I tell you guys all the time, this is a brief intermission here before I talk about King Pain, because I like King Pain a lot. I think King Pain's a cool dude. Listen, let me tell you vloggers something, as a person that's been vlogging here for a while now. You cannot continue to make salacious material about people and believe that that's going to help you survive here on YouTube. It is not. And so when I take that case in point, I take it from Jaguar Wright. I said a while ago, and for all mistakes and purposes, whether she told a little fib here and there, whatever the case may be, or this, that's what she felt as a device mechanism to protect herself, I'm still going to support Jaguar as far as her recovery. Now, as far as her stories and everything like that, I mean, that's her business. That's her story to tell. Was it my experience? No. But can I see some of the things that she's saying and say to you, is it a possibility it could have happened? And I'll let you decide the rest. Moving on, King Pain last night had a discussion about Jaguar's current state, and as many of y'all know, she's locked up currently. And it's sad to say, but I told you in my last video. I told you. And had I not told you, I wouldn't try to, and I don't want you guys to think I'm piggybacking off King Pain, because King Pain is the plug right now. You see what I'm saying? Jaguar was the plug, not King Pain the plug. So you better watch and stay on his good side if you want to know what's going on with Jaguar, because the rest of them vloggers don't. They're only going to rehash. I don't even know what's going on with Jaguar. You understand what I'm saying? But I hope that they're treating you well where you're at. I hope you're eating good. I hope that, honestly and truthfully enough, this sit down time, it's time not only for you to reflect, but time for you to breathe. See, a lot of people think that she should be sitting back and she should be reflecting on what she did and how she did y'all wrong and all that. And I'm going to get to that in a second, too, because I think that's one part of King Pain, based on his audience, didn't go into. But I just want to talk about one thing that happened over there at King Pain. And this is not a shot at King Pain, because, like I said, I like homie. But let me tell you something when I'm talking about here, King Pain. See, you got some particular girl that's your moderator. Okay, she's your moderator in your chat room, right? And I noticed that you're usually having your diatribe when things are transacting. And I heard you say amongst yourself, and if you go back to last night's live, you'll hear what I'm saying. I heard you say out of your own mouth, you ladies, and which I would have probably said you bitches, but that's just me. You said you bitches that are in here and forth to talk about Jaguar, give your speculations, give your matter-of-factlies, what you heard, what you didn't hear, etc., 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 right? Y'all gonna have to get kicked the fuck up out of here. You got to go, you know? And he allowed y'all to stay. That was amazing to me because me personally, I just block dudes and girls. You come in my shit talking crazy, I just block you. You leave a crazy comment, I just block you. I don't have no time to be arguing with the unaccomplished, whether it be off YouTube or for me formerly and still currently in the music industry. I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it, especially if you ain't donating a dime. So not only have I patent, but I also respect King Payne for his page. But let me tell you about them bitches that be coming over there, King Payne. Let me speak to you for a minute. See, that particular chick, and I ain't gonna call out a name in the chat room, but let me tell you how some of these chicks operate. Because I had one of them over my page for a long while, and at the end of the day, I noticed that she wasn't helping me do shit. She was there for her own benefit and for people to scream her out and shout her out while she was in my live. Let me show you how this shit work. And I tried to warn my ex-boss, still same boss, still always will be boss Sean Prez of the same fucking thing. Respect to him, bad boy. Let's go. Let me tell you what I mean by that. See, Prez and another individual, which many of y'all know, and I'm not gonna scream his name out because I know he don't want me to use his name like that. But and me and him got into an argument before a long time ago, so I'm not gonna scream his name out. But him and a particular individual that many of y'all know, I'll give you a hint. He's a light-skinned individual that's known for having a lot of women at one time. Love and okay. So him and this particular individual, they do a show, and the show is based off relationships, right? I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna take my time because other vloggers on here have to tell their story. Why should I? Well, him and this particular individual, they do a thing, ironically enough, and they cater it to try to help women. And what they're not aware of, is specifically Prez, and what they're not aware of is a lot of these women, especially nowadays, are very cunning, conniving, malicious, and very strategic as far as that manipulation and cop chasing goes. See, the guys are manipulative too, but not like the women. The women are very cunning. And instead of going and finding a story that's about the truth or anything like that, no, what they highlight is whose story has got the most viewers, whose story's got the most subscribers, whose story has got the most and talking about people, whatever, and that's the way it runs. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason they equate to that is because it's premium black news, just like my man Troy Terrain said. See, all the dirt and the gossip and all that stuff or whatever, there's a batch of these women, not all women of color, definitely, because I've seen a lot of white women do this. Or they do it with the Kim Kardashians, they do it with this one, they do it with that one, the Latin women do it too, they do it with this, with stars are there, Cardi B, etc., etc., etc. There is a contingent of women that are very, very slick and very manipulative. And I want to talk about that broad that was the moderator last night. Now, I don't know if King Payne knows her personally or whatever, but this one time, King Payne, respectfully, fuck that bitch. And I'm going to tell you why. See, that bitch last night, I said I wouldn't call her bitch, right? But fuck you, bitch, because I saw what you did. Last night, after King Payne had made his announcement, he said, hey, one more y'all bitches come in here and say something crazy, you getting kicked the fuck out, and you shall not pass, like Gandalf in the fucking Lord of the Rings. So I started watching and listening to the chat at the same time. And then when I started listening to the chat, I started seeing all these women that were coming in there with all these conspiracy theories, what they heard on this channel, that channel, whatever, what so-and-so reported. Mind you, the only motherfucker that's got Q and Hugh of what's really going on, as far as I know, about Jaguar Wright is King Payne. You get what I'm saying? So I said to myself, oh, I see. These some gossiping bitches. And this is the same thing I was trying to warn Prez about. See, these bitches, they scur the internet. They're clout chasers. The best clout chasers nowadays are women. They scur the internet. And it doesn't matter if you're male, female, whatever the case may be. They come into your chat room at first, and then they at you, or they try to, friendly themselves with you or whatever the case may be. And once they think they got you, they'll work their way into becoming a moderator, or in some cases, because unlike King Payne, he ain't like that, but unlike King Payne, many of these motherfuckers, what they'll do is they'll turn around and now they want to act like they friends with this motherfucker. All along, this motherfucker has got your demise on the horizon the whole time. See, these chicks go, and what they do, because I had this happen to me myself 3 times. They come into your chat, they try to get friendly with you, and the whole time they got some salacious plan in the background going on and mentally in their mind. Now, what she did last night was she allowed this one girl, after I made this statement, I'm gonna tell you what I said, because I'm a real one, so I'm gonna tell you what I said. I said, a lot of you chicks is in here talking about mental instability. You're talking about and making fun of a woman being locked up, even though you're a woman, and you get online every day and talk about how women are so subjected to this and so subjected to that. Nobody wants to take anything away from you from that. It's the truth. But you bitches were in there and y'all were being some of the nastiest, cantankerous motherfuckers they were. And you feel like you have free reign to say whatever the fuck you want to, and nobody can say anything else back to you. Well, guess what, bitch? I'm not that guy. I'm going to say something to you. And I can't, and I know King Payne couldn't say it because he had a channel to do and he had a show to do. So I didn't expect him to do that. You understand what I'm saying? I expected him to say what he said in his PG 13 rated, because I didn't see the motherfucker turn up. I watched some of his old episodes. He turn up when he want to. But when he turned up with respect. You understand what I'm saying? This young woman at me put my name in there. And first of all, bitch, you don't know me. I don't, and you ain't never donated to me. Matter of fact, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. This is the Beggar for Cash Apps episode. $ STRINGERBELL80. That's Stringer Bell 80 on Cash App. It's in the title. It's in the description box. It's even in the fucking queue after this. So make sure y'all hit that up with your cheap ass. But long story short, this chick asks me after I said all that, and I said, all you chicks are lawyers, psychoanalysts, fucking shrinks, all these different fucking things that you've got to get a certificate or at the very least a degree for. All of y'all are all these wrapped up into one. You say something about jail or you say something about the courtroom, they're expert. You say something about mental health, they're expert. You say something about living arrangements and homelessness and stuff like that, they're an expert. It's like every fucking thing you say or can contrive in your mind, one of these broads is a fucking expert. And enough is a fucking enough. You're not an expert. Many of these bitches are laying at home right now under 3 or 4 fucking kids. They got 3 or 4 different fucking daddies, living in the high-rise fucking public housing projects on the 5th or 6th floor, walking around garbage and piss in the elevator, telling you how fucking life goes. How do you know? You've lived in the projects for the past 20 years of your life. You got an uncle that's sitting in the fucking room right now that's been batshit crazy and always lived with the family, and nobody can figure out why he was always there with the family. Why? Because he's fucking crazy. So why you ain't concerned about his mental health? Why you ain't concerned about the mental health of them little motherfuckers you raised by yourself singly that are running up and down the street selling drugs, shooting at people, bothering old people, attacking old people, hopping the turnstile at the subway, shit like that? How come you ain't worried about them and their mental capacity? See, we got a bunch of freaking fraudulent ass bitches to get online daily and sit around and tell you how you should be fucking living your life. But when you look inside at their life, you'll see their life is 10 times more fucked up than the said individual we're talking about, which is Jaguar Wright. You understand what I'm saying? So that made me upset. So when she put at me, oh yeah, right. I was like, yeah, right. What you talking about? I know 5 bitches right now, just off the top of my head, in Connecticut and New York. They're going through the same exact thing that I'm talking about. I wouldn't even know how to articulate it had I not seen it. You understand what I'm saying? Let me dig in here. I would not have known how to articulate it if I had not seen it for myself. I got friends, okay? Friends that are friends of mine that have issues because of things that have happened to them or whatever. So when I see these chicks crowded around in this chat room, somebody else's chat room, and then I go look, because I took screenshots of all the bitches that were talking, so I just go individually look at their fucking pages. This bitch got 10 followers. This bitch got 15 followers. And it's not the fact that how many subscribers you got, because that shit really doesn't matter. What really matters is retention, people that are returning, and your subscribers. But when I seen these broads, and they're sitting there and they're talking about so matter-of-factly how they know about Jaguar and all this shit, what they didn't heard, what they didn't gossip about or whatever. And I don't take either side. The only guy's side I'm on right here is this guy, King Payne. You know why I'm on his side? Because this guy's not a sucker, as far as I can tell. He hasn't shown me anything that would make him be a sucker. And I think that I was very, very strategic in the fact that I didn't want to get involved in that portion of the conversation when he was talking about, things that were going on with Goomba, things that were going on with her divorce, things like that. The way I was raised here in the tri-state, we just, and she's going to know that, she'll tell you herself, we just don't get involved in stuff like that because shit like that can end up getting you popped or having to as somebody. Get what I'm saying? So you stay out of people's relationships. You understand? You don't get into people's relationships the same way. Don't get into my relationships. Don't talk to chicks that I know and ask them about my relationship or what's going on. You're speculative or whatever. It can get you laid the fuck down. It can. This is true. Give me a second, guys. Let me get something to drink here. I'm drinking a shake. I can keep myself healthy. That's how I stay all slim and in shape and all that crap. My problem was, it was a multitude of these girls. And this moderator, this bitch of a moderator, she first addresses me, but don't address the chick. You understand what I'm saying? That was saying the shit. See, bitch, I didn't at you. I didn't at anybody in the chat room. I just put it out there for what it was. Many of you girls are living fucked up lives, but yet still you get online and pretend that something else is going on within your life. Okay, yeah, you graduated from such and such community college, and now you're a fucking registered nurse or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Some shit that really does not going to be life-changing. It's just, for you it's a big deal. For me, that's just mediocrity. But okay, I digress. These are the same girls that are in these chat rooms, and you find them not just on the King Page page, but you find them in a multitude of pages, including I had some on my page. See, when I was real viral at first, and like I tell you guys all the time, I got videos that got 1.2 million views on them, 500,000, 300,000, so on and so forth. I have videos with just myself that have over 250,000 views. Just talking about myself. I'm not even having a subject. I'm talking about myself. You don't believe me? Go look for yourself. You have to scroll a little bit, but you'll see it. So I'm not a matter-of-factly type of person. But when I get to looking at these girls' pages that are talking the loudest and talking the most, the clout chaser comes out of them. Because I had one woman that replied, and she had been online for 13 years, had material up. That's damn near the creation of YouTube. YouTube started around 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. So she had been on here since the creation. You should be a seasoned veteran. This broad comes in the chat room, says something or whatever, so I block her. Now we ain't talking. Now I want to mind you, the girl that first initially talked to me, I blocked her before she even said anything. But what I replied to when I told her was this, because a lot of you lousy bitches sit around and try to act tough guy. So what I always do is, and I've always been a master of, is keep some do-dirty bitches. Oh yeah, I keep some do-dirty bitches. You know why I keep do-dirty bitches? Because I got sisters. And my sisters taught me, always keep some do-dirty bitches. If you don't know what the definition of a do-dirty bitch is, that's some bitches that's just lined up that don't give a fuck and will fuck you up on sight since I'm a guy and I can't put my fucking hands on you. I also happen to know some do-dirty bitches that strip. Some of them work in the music industry. Some of them, do their thing, whatever the case may be, on the OnlyFans or whatever the case may be. But they have resources. That's the underlining measure. They have resources. So I told that bitch, I said, yo, leave your address. So let me just put this down real quick. I don't care what city you're in. If you think you're so fucking tough, right? Because like what they do is, they talk tough to the guys because they think there's not going to be no reaction to it. And you're right, to a certain degree. I'm not going to put my hands on you, but them bitches will. I'm not going to smack you, but them bitches will. I'm not going to uppercut you, but them bitches will. I'm not going to jump you with one of my homeboys, but them bitches will. And let me not talk too much. For the mistake of the matter, you see this implemented a lot on fucking social media. I don't care if it's on YouTube or wherever else. And unless you're involved in the game, don't sit there and pass judgment and be like, I can't believe you're talking to these innocent women like that. These bitches are barracudas and vultures. Okay? And they will stop at nothing until they destroy you. I get on here every day and I see women that got post up demoralizing men, talking shit about men, referring to men not as men of color, but referring to them as niggas. But you got to respect them and call them ladies and ma'ams and watch your tone. Fuck you, bitch. Because I know the difference between real women and fucking wannabe ass fucking loudmouth whores. You understand what I'm saying? And last night, King Payne had a whole bunch of loudmouth whores that were in there. And matter of factly, he wasn't talking about a man. He was talking about another woman of color. So what really came to fruition was this thing in my mind. See, here in the New York City tri-state, we have bitches that talk like that. And usually the bitches that talk like that are usually bitches that never had their motherfucking head crushed in one time. See, that was a big factor. I'm not that old, but that was, and I'm still very young, but that was a big factor when I was growing up. You know, like bitches would watch their walk because they knew that a nigga had some sisters or some crazy cousins or something like that or whatever. Then we got into this woke period in time where everybody's now so fucking sensitive, everybody's a fucking victim or whatever, whatever, and nobody can take account for their own responsibilities and things that they dished out. I don't come from that. I come from an area that's different. You understand what I'm saying? An era, excuse me, not an area, but an area that's different too, but an era, you know, and in that era, bitch, if you talk shit to me, I'm going to get my sister so they can come back here and beat your motherfucking ass. And I'll sit there in today's climate and film this shit and put it on my Patreon or something like that. Watch this bitch get her ass whooped justifiably. See, a lot of these women are loudmouth because they talk shit online. And that's what those bitches were doing in that chat room last night. They were talking shit online, but scared to talk shit in real life. See, in real life, these bitches is quiet in a church mouse. You understand what I'm saying? Quiet in a church mouse. Now, most people that know me know I'm nuttier than squirrel shit. You understand what I'm saying? I make no hides about it. And if I tell you I'm going to get you, please believe I'm going to get you. It might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, might be next year, but I'm going to get you one way or another. You know what I mean? I've always been like that. I'm a vindictive little fuck if you fuck with me. You understand what I'm saying? And what you could try by your head to fuck with me, and what I could try by my head to fuck with you is going to be totally different. It's not going to be on the same elk. So when I was in that chat room with King Payne, I noticed that it wasn't just that chick, but it was a multitude of chicks in there talking shit about Jaguar Wright. And I came to the conclusion, I said, well, whoa, for all this talking about women's rights and all this talking about how black women and Latin women are so mistreated in society and misogynized and ostracized and put up against the plate every day or whatever, why are you bitches in here celebrating another woman getting locked up based off nothing other than you want to see her destruction? See, a lot of these broads, let's put some things in quotations here. A lot of these bitches that are screaming that they mad, they upset with Jaguar did, or they suppose that she did. Y'all excuse me, I put lotion on my face. Well, y'all suppose she did, or whatever the case may be, right? A lot of y'all chicks that are upset about that, we got to take in contention this. How many of y'all bitches really donated? And as I'm speaking to that, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. It is what it is. This is the Begging for Cash Apps episode plus topics. How many of y'all chicks that were complaining actually donated to Jaguar? And just as I seen them 2-3 motherfuckers that were just right here when I said that, and they logged on because they knew what I was telling was the truth. See, we live in an area of time right now where these chicks are so bent on getting recognition for being absolutely nobodies, women that have done nothing in their life whatsoever to uplift the community. Some of these women have been in positions where they have been at the tail end or the front end of men's demises, men being put in prison, men being railroad and everything else or whatever. And then these same women will present themselves, because you don't know them, they will present themselves online like they're somebody else. You understand? But mind you, you never get to talk to these women. You never get to hear what these women are like in real person. You never get to see these women, meet them for a tea or something like that, so you can really dissect who they are. See, motherfuckers can get online. That's why I never, ever, ever go out of my way to act fake and phony. And I know if I got on here and acted fake and phony and did one of these moves, Hi, everybody. I'm Davin Lewis. Good to see you. I've been called, y'all. I did all that shit. I swear to God, I probably get like 2,000 more subscribers because people like to hear that bullshit ass fake shit. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry, baby. It ain't me. I ain't doing it. And as much as you want me to do that fake ass shit, I'd rather have the 82 plus subscribers that I gained this past 2 weeks than have 8,200 fake motherfuckers. Because those 8,200 fake motherfuckers in the end, they gonna turn on you. All you motherfuckers that had y'all storyline based on this Jaguar Wright, y'all gonna start seeing that when y'all start talking about something else other than Jaguar Wright. Because now you're forced to. Jag's gone. So some of y'all build pages, you girls, yes, you girls, or like I like to rather refer to you as bitches. If you don't like to be called bitches, that's what they are. I know the difference between bitches and ladies, and if you don't, that's gonna be your demise in there. That's going to be your demise in there. And I know a woman when I meet one, and I know a pure evil fucking bitch when I meet one. I've been with one eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? Slept in a bed next to a couple of them in my lifetime. So don't tell me what the difference is. And my sisters would call them bitches. So that's why I'm so regularly and easily just call them that, because that's what you are. You're bent on demise. You're bent on doing evil doing. You're sneaky. You're conniving. You don't care about anybody but yourself. You're a narcissist. You're self-centered. The list goes on. You understand? So these group of women that were in King Payne's chat room last night that were talking all that shit about Jaguar, right? I want to tell you, pathetic bitches, something. Oh, the reckoning is coming. All you little channels that pretended like y'all knew everything that was going on with Jaguar, and make no mistake about it. Let me explain something real quick for y'all that don't know, that are new subscribers to mine, why I'm so passionate about this. So I'm gonna go take a little trip down memory lane. But before we get there, make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80, STRINGERBELL80 on Cash App. Let me know if you donated so I can shout you out here in the chat. Unfortunately enough, some haters came through and they didn't like the fact that some of the things I was saying, and so my channel got demonetized. So this is where we're at. So this is the begging for Cash Apps episode, because that's how y'all like to do it, right? Premium black news at its best. So the reason I'm so invested in this is because naturally it is my duty. It is my duty for several reasons, but I'll give you the first 3 or 4. The one reason is my duty as far as Jaguar Wright is concerned, is because the pure simple fact that many of y'all know, I started out my channel here very differently. When I started out my channel, I was in a compromise during the pandemic, and I went live with that compromise that I had to make during the pandemic, and I was very real and natural about it. So that's why I'm so, and if you saw the circumstances at the time, I was in a homeless shelter. So if you saw the circumstances at the time, you would understand, oh, this guy's authentic. I understand now. And you would understand why this past 2 years has just been a whole climb back for me. And unfortunately, the culture, the people, they won't help you unless you gossiping, or you got something to purge yourself out. That's something I learned. You purge yourself out so they can have a moment of embarrassment for you. You understand? See, they like to see you under them, not above them. You understand? I want to see you doing good, but not better than me. That's just always been the trinkets and the tenets of people that I've learned since the 2.5 years, almost 3 years I've been online here. And unlike many others that have been on here for 13, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 years and haven't amassed no more than 1,200 followers, I amassed a whole bunch of followers. I was like at 5,000 followers within the first week. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is a real talk. I was at 5,000 followers the first week. You understand what I'm saying? Which is unrehensible for a lot of people. They can't even imagine it. And so at that time, I remember simultaneously as I was doing my videos, Jaguar Wright started doing her videos. And at this time, it was the tell-alls and everything like that or whatever, which most of y'all are familiar with. If you're not, you're just now commonly coming to know her. You understand what I'm saying? She was throwing up and dishing out a couple of things. Were some of the things she's saying true? I'm going to say it like this, as somebody that was in the music industry, and I think that's another reason I went viral at the time, but we're not going to get into that because that's not of importance anymore. But are some of the things that she said true? Yeah, they are. Probably. Or some of the things she added a little sauce for y'all motherfuckers? Yeah, probably. Why did she add the sauce? Because that's what y'all wanted to see, nigga. Premium black news. See, The normalcy now online for blacks and Latinos is, and whites as well, is that you have to have some salaciousness added to your diatribes for the most of you. You understand? And most of you bottle drilling motherfuckers. Well, let me continue. After that, there was video after video. Patricia Gaze, what's going on, mama? Salute. After that, there was subsequently, I think within 2 or 3 months, there was probably like 7 to 8 videos put out, and then everybody started following her. You understand what I'm saying? So now we're now moving, just like herself, myself, having 17 years in the music industry, dealing with Atlantic Records, BMG, and then finally Interscope. All these people were distributors for Bad Boy Entertainment at one time or another. This is back when we still had physical entities. So I started back in like 99 going into 2000. My first official year was 2000 through 2021. Okay. Simultaneously, as I was starting that, I was dancing on Direct Effects. If many of y'all old enough to remember that show with Tech and DJ Funkmaster Flex, and shout out to Terrence and Jamie and all those other people, Burnham, that managed to was the producers of that show or whatever. I worked with them. I know those guys to this day. I just saw Terrence Clayton, maybe like 2-3 months before the pandemic started. We had been talking. He was over there working with 50 Cent now. And we've been talking, and getting in touch. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of things coming up, but I need money to facilitate a lot of these things. I got to go to auditions. I have to go to the studio. I had to put that on hold. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay people to record you. And so I remember she's coming from the music industry. I'm coming from the music industry. She started a few years earlier than me, of course, because she got to deal with Clive and everything like that, whatever the case may be. So let's say 95, 96 is when Jaguar probably first got signed, and it wasn't 98 to 99, because this happens a lot. You'll get an artist has been signed, like Black Rob, for example, God bless his heart. Black Rob was signed for probably like 5 or 6 years before you guys as the public actually saw who he was. Same thing with Shine. Shine was signed for like 2 or 3 years before it was his launch date, and your public finally got to see who he was. This goes with a lot of artists. They pick a particular launch date for these artists because of pure simple fact that's what they feel projectively is going to sell them. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me share this real quick, because like I said, I already know this. I have to share this a lot of times, unfortunately, because I have type of followers, and this is why I said it's self-explanatory here. I have the type of people that follow me to try to garner information or get ideas for stories for their page. It's very crabs in a bucket type of mentality. They've taken the crabs in a bucket mentality socially and now brought it digitally online. So this is another little tidbit for you new vloggers or people trying to get into vlogging, particularly men. I'm not worried about women. Women got too many advocates nowadays. You're fine. So what I found out was that Jag and myself, we both of us, were riding and gliding off of salaciousness. You understand what I'm saying? It was her salacious stories that attracted people. It was my salacious timing and my stories that attracted people. They wasn't interested in us. In fact, I had 4 or 5 different people. Shout out to Prophet, what's his name? Prophet Muscle. Shout out to him out in LA. That's my man's right there. I haven't seen Prophet Muscle in a long time. I probably said some things or whatever. Nobody ever asked me, yo, how did you feel recuperating from the pandemic? And I'll tell you that story a little bit further into this. I'm gonna be with you guys for a minute. This ain't gonna be a short live today. Usually I only do like 2 hours or whatever. I'm gonna pan this out to it ends. Guys, make sure you hit up the Cash App $ STRINGERBELL80. This is the Begging for Cash App episode. Make sure y'all show some love for the work I do here. I had to slow down, like I told you guys before, because it's just like this is tax season. So you can't tell me that, I'm hurt or whatever. When you're going over there to the Arab store spending $20, $100, you're going over there to such and such store spending this, spending that. You're going over to so-and-so's podcast and hearing them gossip or whatever. And I'm telling y'all the real, and y'all won't support the channel. And then when you reach out and say your Cash App, and I said it in the title, these motherfuckers will still try to embarrass you by logging off and then logging on. Now, I don't want you. Please unsubscribe if you're that type, especially if you've repeatedly done that and you've been here 2 or 3 years, which I'll get to them motherfuckers too. So as I saw us riding off this whole wave or whatever, at one point when I finally got, fixed and got my soul back into a place or whatever under my own. You understand what I'm saying? It was my money that got me into the apartment I'm in right now. Very big apartment, but is as good as what I used to have? Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? I think this has got to be out of all the places I've ever lived, and I'm very grateful. But out of all the places I've ever lived, this is definitely the worst. You understand what I'm saying? Like my neighbors were totally different. Like everything was different. But you learn to live with it, you know. Long story short, and I don't have to bring that up. You can just ask my fucking landlord that looked at my rental history and my ownership history. That'll tell the story itself. I lived by the fucking beach for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I lived very well. I used to walk across the street. There was a shelter right there. I could see fucking literally 3 miles of beach and then a beach shoreline. And then that shoreline equated it and ended up as one huge ass fucking ocean front that people go swim. There was a pool there. There's a beach area. I mean, it's huge. People would drive from Massachusetts and everywhere else to come to my area to enjoy the cookouts, everything like that. This is a true story. I'm making nothing up. So, and Jaguar, she lived very well too. And some people couldn't understand. I want to explain some things. So that's why I'm gonna take my time with this. But our ride, we didn't know, and I know she didn't know either. Our whole ride that we took on the social media thing, we never thought that we would have to keep feeding y'all dirt for y'all to listen. And y'all was so used to hearing the dirt. So when we're telling the truth, y'all can't decipher the two. And then I guess it was me and my mans. We sat back and we were talking. I was like, yo, these people, they don't understand our lifestyle. And that's why I said a lot of times when I come on here and I talk in a fashion of I'm talking to somebody in the music industry because I'm still in touch with people in the music industry, like on a day-to-day basis, whether we're texting, whether we're online with each other, whatever the case may be. I'm always in touch. These are people I've known my whole entire adult life. Like I said, I'm not that old. You know what I mean? So these are people I've known since basically I was a teenager, now in adulthood. You know what I'm saying? So these are long-standing relationships. Jaguar's got some of the same relationships. Y'all really paying attention. Y'all see her call Young Chris. That was part of the Young Guns before. I saw on a video chat with the girl from Florida. I forgot what her name is, but shout out to her. So we have friends in the industry. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it is, or associates. Let's say associates, because my friends in the industry, that's a whole fucking different story too. Because a lot of you motherfuckers right now could drop 10 grand in my pocket. You understand what I'm saying? And y'all know my setback. Y'all could drop 10 grand, 15 grand, even 20 grand in my pocket, and y'all know that still wouldn't be enough. You understand what I'm saying? That's why that one time with Marquise, he said to 50 Cent, and I'm not picking sides here, but I understood what he was saying to his father. He was like, imagine having to start your life with 6 grand a month. I said, no, I could do it with 6 grand a month. Shit, I could do it with 3 grand a month. You know what I'm saying? But it takes a lot of money starting over. So after I got on my bond, I put my stuff in the storage, the little stuff I had. I had 2 storage rooms at first, but it got a little too expensive in the predicament I was in. So I had to let one of them go. All my furniture, I had everything. I had a running water fountain. I had statues that were given to me. I had one beautiful one that was one of Nefertiti. It was a bust. It was about like literally this big, huge. That was the biggest loss I took. They auctioned all my shit off by the time I got back there. They sold the room. You know what I'm saying? Like everything in there. I had a beautiful Victorian chase. My whole fucking living room palette was Victorian. You know what I'm saying? Very, Cuban-ish shit. So it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I lost it all, and I have no contentions about it. The place I'm at right now, I definitely don't plan on staying here, so I'm not trying to decorate this place or whatever, for many of litany of reasons, I've got, unfortunately, I moved into a neighborhood that traditionally I once knew as being predominantly Italian at one time, and it is now turned into a epicenter of racist. You understand? Not necessarily racist that are racist for any other particular reason other than the fact that their countries of origins, this is how they treat the population that's there. You understand what I'm saying? And I know that, and I've talked to you guys about that before on here. Being half Latino, I know how Latinos are. And there's a segment of Latinos that are very historically racist. You understand what I'm saying? I'll give you a perfect example of that, and I'm going to go back to Jaguar myself. In Colombia right now has a black woman that is the vice president. They have called this one. Now, most times when you guys think of Colombians, y'all think of light skin, whitish, brown, or olive complected people. I can tell the difference between an Anglo-Saxon white man, and most of y'all can too, versus a Latino. But for some reason or another, a lot of Latinos try to blend in and think that they're a part of white. You're not part of white culture, and they'll let you know very quickly if you get into certain audiences. What you're doing is you're talking to sympathizers, empaths, and unaccomplished white folks, and you're thinking that you fit in with it. Well, you can fit in with the unaccomplished white folks, so you can go over there and brown nose all the way you want to. But when the time is right, they will remind you that you are Latino. A perfect example of this is Nori Martinez out in LA, when she made that comments about the adopted little black son of this gay white couple. Oh, they got that bitch the fuck up on out of here. Not only did they get that bitch the fuck up on out of here, they got that bitch and 5 other motherfuckers that were with her that was talking shit on that tape the fuck up out of here. And they made sure that this bitch will never have a fucking job in that constituency or any other part of government ever in her life for a couple words she wanted to say about racism. So in Colombia, the president right now, she's a vice president, is a black female, okay? I don't know if any of y'all knew this, but she is. This woman was called all kinds of monkeys. They threw bananas at her. They talked about her like a dog. They did all kinds of shit. Not because of her political stance, but no, because of the color of her skin. Now, this one's going to kill you guys. Out of all the Latin countries, right, including Cuba, including Dominican Republic, out of all the Latin countries, Colombia has, if not one of the largest, the second largest outside of Brazil as far as the black population. You didn't know that, did you? Well, it's the truth. And so they harassed this woman, bothered this woman, did everything. And she stood vigilant. So unfortunately enough, one of the things I'm having to do now is put myself together and pay myself to get the fuck up out of this shit. Because I refuse to sit around motherfuckers that have no education. The best they have in life is working at a corner store. I worked for a multi-million-dollar record label for fucking 17 years. I don't have to sit for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I'm not saying that all the people in this neighborhood are like that, because they're not. But a good majority of them are, until they hear me speak Spanish. And then the conversation changes. Some people, they already know I speak Spanish, so it works out. But some that don't, they'll have their little things to say, and they say something in Spanish, and I say something back to them, and then they usually cool the shit. But after that, I have no interest in being cool with you. I have no interest in having a conversation with you. I give you one time and one time only. Why? Because I'm not a disrespectful person. I've never been a disrespectful person. So back to Jaguar. With Jaguar, as we got to continue on this ride, right? As we continued on this ride, what happened was, Jaguar ended up doing something. She fell prey to the shit that y'all were consuming. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's where she made her mistake. She now found herself in a position, and this is why I stepped away. And I should have let her know about this. And I tried to let her know about this one day when I seen her on a particular podcast with these 2 young boys, which at the time, I don't even think they knew what they were getting themselves into. And they didn't take it as, listen, boys, I'm not trying to warn her and say that you ain't shit. I'm trying to warn all 3 of you motherfuckers. This is where you're headed to. You understand? And just like fucking clockwork, the shit came true. Everything, if you pay attention and go back and look at my old videos, and I think you'll even have more respect for me as a blogger, because everything that I told you motherfuckers came to fruition. You understand? So in particular, I think it was my last video I did about Jag. I'll put the link in there if you want to right now. Just hit videos. You can log off, hit videos, scroll down, and just look for the last video I did with Jaguar's name in the head of the title. I mean, her name was the first one, and you'll hear it in that broadcast. I told her personally, I said in the video, which I'm pretty sure she saw, I said, because her and I have had interaction. It's not like, and I'm talking about on camera. I'm not talking about off camera or whatever the case may be. Her and I have had interaction, you understand, on camera for a substantial amount of time on camera, and it's still there. And so I said in this video that I made, because I gave a shit, I cared. I said, listen, you've had 1 time, you've had 2 times, you've had 3 times. And this is in regard to the arrest that she had. You understand what I'm saying? I said, you've had 3 times now to get arrested. There won't be a 4th. And I think each time, sometimes, let me put it like this, so we don't get no gossiping going on and blow the whole shit here. And then people are hitting me up like, why you say that? sometimes people can think it's all them and it ain't this all them. Get me? So, you know, I think she felt like she was getting herself out of these compromising positions or whatever the case may be. And, eh, I said it won't be a fourth time. It won't be a fourth time. The fourth time they're going to take you. And I say that in that video. I said, this is your last time. I said it very clearly. This is your last time. So you can't take that away from me. I said it, I even clip and put it and try to put it under a minute so you guys can watch it. Just that particular part of what I said. But many of y'all that rock with me and been with me, y'all know I said this. And so, and like I said, just go right down below. The last video entitled with her name in the title, it's that video. The very first one you see is that video, because I know how the scrolling goes. The scrolling goes from newest to oldest. So I'm sitting there and I hear that she gets arrested. I heard she gets arrested by the pool or whatever. A lot of y'all had something to say about, oh, she said she only stay at the Hilton. Give me a second, y'all. Let me share this real quick. We got some more, the Negro whisperers in here. That's what I like to call them, the Negro whisperers. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, let me grab what this person said. See, these people are not talented. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Most of these vloggers are not talented. They're just regurgitating shit. They ain't really saying shit that's like opinionated, authentic, original, or whatever. These motherfuckers are just regurgitating shit. Y'all just fucking say, here come my money, here come my money, here come my money. I know I heard that last week, but here come my money. Why? Because he got 400 people in the chat room. You dumb motherfucker. Anyway, and that's why y'all mad. It was your own greed, your own clout chasing that got you mad at Jaguar Wright. Don't worry, I'm going to bring this shit all full circle. Just give me a minute. Oh, you think it's all about her? I'm here to talk about her. No, I'm here to talk about you motherfuckers. That's what you don't get. So we fast forward to her now getting arrested the fourth time. They said it was a disorderly conduct. That was the weakest charge they could give you, And at some point, it's out of everybody else's hands. One time, two times, it's even stretching it for a third time. But that fourth time, So many people suggested, hey, take your ass off the line. Like Tokyo. What up, Tokyo Tony? What's going on, man? I like Tokyo Tony, boy. I'm trying to tell you. Tokyo Tony, tú sabes, mamita, es dominicana, no? Esto tiene un gordito culo, tú sabes. Yo quiero. She know what I said. But shout out to Tokyo Tony, for real. Tokyo Tony got the fucking yams. I ain't know she was holding like that. I'm like, damn, if only one more night. Shout out to Tokyo Tony. I like Tokyo Tony, man. You know what I mean? She remind me of some chicks. And she got that guy. You know what I mean? She like, come on, man. Hey, nigga, hit this. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like her. But anyway, it was funny because once Jaguar went to jail this time, all these vloggers that had been talking about her, in most cases, had built their whole channel about talking about her. See, I ain't built my channel about talking about her. I built my channel at the time off me. You know what I'm saying? And what I was saying about me. Now, the videos that I was throwing up with her, or sections I was throwing up with her pertaining to her, yeah, they helped out. But people was coming back to see me. You know what I'm saying? This as well as people was going back to see her. You understand what I'm saying? So when she got locked up, prior to when she got locked up, y'all know the whole story, the Legina thing and all that stuff. That stuff is new. But what we're talking about is stuff that go back 2.5 years ago almost now. You understand what I'm saying? The pandemic was still going on when she first launched here on YouTube. So that's how far I go back with her story. And that's why I said I would have to be a punk-ass hypocrite if I sit here and advocate for her, because this woman helped in the ascension of my channel. Who am I to sit here and talk about her now and put her down and treat her like she's nobody and, regardless of whatever? This is what I have to say. And it's going to be a couple parts here. So like I said, we're going to be here for a minute. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. That's STRINGERBELL80. It's found right there in the description box. And it's also, more importantly, in the fucking title. So don't tell me you can't find it. All right, a couple of people, I can't find it. I wanted to give you, somebody told me the other day, I wanted to donate $100, but I couldn't find. I said it was in the description box. They wrote me that, then turned around and like removed the comment so I couldn't interact with them anymore. I was like, yo, these motherfuckers be going hard. So it's $ STRINGERBELL80. Okay, it's right in the description box, and it's also, so you can just click it from there, or it's also in the what's the name. And if you do not have that, I also have an option for PayPal and GoFundMe. So make sure y'all hit that up, support my channel. I've had to dumb down my channel to now going only live once or twice a week because I just can't afford to allow them at a time, you know, and nobody's supporting, but y'all go support everybody else. A lot of people on here don't like me because I talk so point blankly. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what y'all should like, instead of somebody getting up over here acting. Y'all got to separate acting, people that are acting, and people that are being authentic with you. That's why y'all can't understand Tokyo Tony. That's why y'all can't understand Jaguar Wright. That's why y'all can't understand a lot of people on here that are authentically telling y'all the truth. And instead of taking the truth, y'all rather take a vivid lie. You understand what I'm saying? And donate your money to it. So let me bring all this head stuff. During that time, for that 2.5 years, the Jaguar was making her moves, doing what she was doing, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Telling her stories or whatever. Or y'all participated. Y'all participated in one way or another, whether you were congratulating it along, whether, you know, whatever. And you showed your love by donating to her, right? Well, she made her way through life. It was a very hard time during the pandemic. A lot of people asked, well, why is she driving around everywhere? Because she was driving the gigs that were still going on. Even though the country was shut down, if y'all really know the story, if y'all really go back with Jaguar like that, I go back 2.5 years with it. So I'm like, you can go and check my history. And it's not just one upload. It's probably like 30. You know what I'm saying? Before I started doing my own thing heavily with just solely talking about me and subjects I was interested in or whatever. So the funny thing to me was a lot of people didn't understand she was driving around the country like that and driving around that area like that, because that's what people do out there in Texas and those areas or whatever. I've been out there. Tempe, Arizona, Mesa, Arizona, freaking Dallas, Texas, California, I know very well. I've been in these areas, you know what I'm saying? I worked with a record company for 17 years. We went around the fucking country 17 times, 20 times over. You understand what I'm saying? So I know these locales, I know what they look like, because we would get there, fly in or whatever, then we get the renter. So we ain't do nothing but drive. Everybody drives in these areas. So I know what she was doing. She was driving from gig to gig. She was driving to studios, things like that. She was doing her ones and twos. But y'all not being artists, y'all would not understand that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not talking from an artist standpoint. So recently, before she got arrested, somebody made a comment. I didn't hear her say this. Somebody said, and she made the comment, and she said, I only stay in the Hilton. And the reason she stays in the Hilton, I'm going to break this down to y'all because y'all don't understand this. Because a lot of y'all be trying to act like y'all got it all together, whatever. Stop fucking pretending. Puff worth $1 billion now, plus. You understand what I'm saying? And even back then, he was worth 3-digit millions. You ain't never lived the life we lived. You understand what I'm saying? And I know that's hard to soak in. I know that's hard to come to fruition about, but you ain't never lived like us. And as much as you get online and you try to pretend and try to do satire and try to make, because that's what Black and Latin people do. If they jealous of you, the first thing they go to, they won't do this with white people, but they'll do it. They won't do it with a lower class white person. Like a lower class white person, they'll never go up to them and be like, oh, you ain't shit, or look what he got on. Because in the back of their mind, they know whites as a culture run this country. But what they don't realize is, and I hate to say that, even though being half Latino it is, the truth is Black Americans do too. They're 38% of the House of Representatives. You have no fucking power in Congress if you're any other fucking type. That's where the power is in Congress, being able to allocate bills, being able to amend bills. If you don't have a huge force in the police district, or police departments, which nationally you'll see most other minorities in comparison to Black American officers. They even have in New York City alone. They have 4 different unions that are for Black police officers. I think the Latino union has one, and they have under, I think, 3,000 members. You can look this up for yourself. They're not very powerful people. They just try to get a projection that they're powerful. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all from their history of having you as slaves. I hate to say it, the Portuguese and the Spaniards, not Latinos. the Portuguese and the Spaniards. I'm talking about Eastern Europeans, the same ones that colonized the Peruvians, the same ones that came in and decimated the Arawak Indians, the same ones that came in and raped and pillaged the Taino Indians, the same ones that came and raped and pillaged the Arawak Indians. All these different Indian groups that now make up Latin culture, the Mesa, the Aztecs, you name it. You understand what I'm saying? Where you can go to Peru right now, you can go to Brazil right now, you can go to fucking Colombia right now. You will see some of these same indigenous people still living there. And they totally separate themselves from the Latinos that live around. So don't give me that bullshit. I know my history. Don't give me that bullshit. Like Latins today, they won't tell to you about this shit. I will. You understand what I'm saying? And old Latinos will. These new Latinos, they don't want to talk about that. They want to assimilate themselves and pretend like they're white people. You're not white, and they're going to let you know. The lack of power you have in this country. Yeah, you got numbers. You got a few numbers, but you got 35 motherfuckers, and they all work as mechanics, or 35 motherfuckers, and they all work at Dunkin' Donuts, or 35 motherfuckers, they always work at the grocery store. Who gives a fuck? You're the help. And it's about time somebody tell you. You're the fucking help. So, I fast forward and I say this. When I see these people and they're sitting around and they're asking, why is she staying at the Hilton or whatever? Let me explain it to you. So, traveling all these different locales or whatever, each one of these different hotels, you're going to learn after a while, you're going to pay a fee, usually a high fee. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's usually you and at the minimum 6 to 7 people with you. Okay, this is your entourage. This is your PR people. This is your people that make sure they run around, get you a sandwich or something, whatever the case may be. You know, you're gonna at least have 5 to 6 or 7 people with you, maybe more if you're a bigger artist. So usually what happens is a lot of the different record companies, they got hip and they started getting with what you call inclusive deals. Now, the inclusive deals is this, and there's many different people that offer these. One of them that I was a part of was Wyatt Regency, okay? In New York City, I can show you the paperwork. I can show you, and I'm still part of it. All thing I gotta do is pay them $100. I'm back in the program. You understand what I'm saying? So yearly, you pay a due of $100, $200 or whatever, and they put you into the Wyatt Rewards program. Now, across the country, what you can do is any Wyatt Regency or anything owned like that, you can stay at their place for a discounted, heavily discounted rate. You understand what I'm saying? But you have to use their properties. That's what she did. You can go to the Hilton one night and it could be $129 if it's Monday through, let's say, Wednesday. You go there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, that same room is now jumped up to $400. So now if I'm reaching back and I'm asking the followers and the subscribers, hey, yo, donate to me so I can get a room or whatever the case may be, I've got to ask y'all for more. Y'all should be happy that's what she did. At least y'all ain't even peeping. She kept it real. She's in a set price range. You understand what I'm saying? So if I went to the Wyatt in Manhattan right now, I think it's one down by 34th Street. If I went there right now, right, I'm talking about Jaguar Wright. If I went there right now, I could get a fixed rate of probably like $80. You know what I'm saying? That's after I paid them $100 because you got to pay $100 for your yearly dues and all that shit. It's like $129, something like that. It's very cheap. And that's if it's unused. You know what I'm saying? Usually they'll penalize you a little bit and they'll up in like an extra $50 because you didn't book a room or whatever. What they're counting on is your reoccursion of always getting a room. You understand? So a lot of artists, they become used to that. And what they do is they get it through the Hilton, they get it through the W. The W was part of the Hilton chain, I think, or something like that, and other hotel groups or whatever. So if you guys don't know, like a lot of these hotels that y'all see, they're part of groups. You understand what I'm saying? Just like restaurants, just like fucking store chains, etc., etc., etc. They're part of groups. So when y'all said, oh, she want to stay at the Hilton, some little surprisingly, bitch, I want to see what you going to talk about now. Because when you first started out, you saw my reviewing Amazon products. Now you're stuck. Because the person you was talking about, you built your channel off of, is gone now. So what you going to do? And I noticed about 4 or 5 days, a couple of you vloggers, it was day to day, the Jaguar Wright update, 9-10 hour lives, collecting $1,000, $2,000 or whatever, taking money out of real vloggers' mouths or whatever. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App right now as well. $ STRINGERBELL80. That's STRINGERBELL80. I put the link literally in the fucking title. So don't tell me you can't find it. I had some broad come here the other day. Talking about, I was going to donate $100 to you, but I couldn't find your Cash App. I said, you fucking fake bitch. It's right in the description box and it's in the fucking comment section. So I write that to her or whatever, under, and I tag her name in it under the link. She fucking literally erased the comment because I had tagged her in it and somehow blocked herself. I'm like, what a phony ass bitch. She blocked me. I'm like, yo, this is the phony shit to go on when you're doing premium black news. So anyway, that's the little mystery in case y'all were wondering why she had to stay at the Hilton. She was staying at the Hilton because she's part of their rewards program, you dumb motherfuckers. Anyway, what she found out was, and I think a lot of other people found out was moving along, is that her talking about her life as one is not as important to y'all as her talking about someone. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this for you again. Her talking about her personal life and what's going on, and why y'all all originally and initially started following her, now is no longer of importance. But what is important is, how come you ain't feeding us no more stories about these niggas in the industry? Why you ain't telling us nothing? Why you ain't opening up the veal door, Jaguar? We want to know. We want to know. Well, let me tell you what's behind that veal door, you punk coward motherfuckers. Let me tell you what's behind that veal door, since you want to know so much, all right? I'm going to give you one, all right? Make sure you hit up my Cash App. Make sure you hit up that fucking like button. This is the first time and last time in a while the big cousin Davin here is going to give you a scoop. So let me tell you what's behind that veal door. Oh, it's a whole bunch of goblins, ghosts, demons, and fucking angels all in one space. One cannot exist without the other. Holy Trinity, yeah. What's behind that door is this. You ever look, as I say this, one motherfucker hops off. It's so fucking dumb. I'm sorry. I just find some people that's so fucking innately dumb nowadays that it's ridiculous. The one moment I'm saying, listen, I'm gonna give you one this one time. The smart motherfuckers would have stayed here. The dumb motherfucker logs off. I gotta go. I saw that shit. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They're worthless. That was somebody looking for material for their show. You understand what I'm saying? This is how it roll. Please believe people come to your page, and if you're a big blogger, you got over 10,000 people, like such as myself and other bloggers, they're gonna come to your page, grab your material, slice it and dice it up, and then try to present it as their own. The problem is, you ain't me. And the shit I say and the information I got right here, you can't regurgitate. Why? Because I ain't told you. But I'm going to give you one. So when you open up that veil of the door of the music industry, quote unquote, you're going to find a whole bunch of angels and demons. Within that whole diatribe of the industry, what you're going to find is these angels and demons are pitted against each other on a daily basis. Now, I'm using that symbolically, but let me tell you what I mean by that. There are some beautiful people in the music industry that have clear, good intentions, got into the music industry because they wanted to see it go a certain way, got into the music industry because they saw that there were people in there navigating it in the wrong directions. They got into the music industry because they saw people that were in there and they had true love for musicians. You understand what I'm saying? Which is the reason, and you'll see, but if you ever watched that fucking, what's her name, with Jay-Z and her, Jay-Z damn near had to look at Jaguar and tell him, okay, bitch, let's shut the fuck up. Shit, let me do these lyrics. You know what I'm saying? In a good way. You know what I mean? Well, there's a lot of people that are in the business that are good people. What they find out once they're in there for a little while is they find out that the motherfuckers that are around them ain't just that. And most of these people, being that a lot of them, Black and Latin alike, my first boss, his name was James Cruz. Before I even started working for Prez and Malcolm Miles, who I think Malcolm is over at Cash Money, Young Money still. Tell him Professional said what's up if you know Malcolm Miles. He know me intimately. You understand what I'm saying? I was one of his young boys. Same thing with Prez. Same thing with James Cruz. We were their young boys. You know what I'm saying? So you can ask any of them who I am, just say Professional. You know who Professional is? I guarantee you, just like that, you're going to get an answer. And everything they say about me is going to be good. You understand? I never made no stains on screwing people over or getting over on people or being a liar or sitting around and making up false stories. You know what I'm saying? Or none of that. You know, I never did that. I was always known for being honest, you know? So that's one of the things I got going for me. I'm too honest sometimes, and that works against me as well. But you guys don't know me, but they do. So you have two types of different people. You have people that are generally in the music industry because of good people, and then you have this other flake of motherfuckers, this kiss asses, brown nosers, shoe shiners, and fucking ready to do anything but tap dance on the table for you. These people fell victim to evil people that are in the business, and you know who I'm talking about. And many of those evil people, those senior heads, well, a lot of them they're not black and Latin; they're white. You understand? This is why when Kanye said what he said, I knew he said what he said, and he had authenticism behind it. Mr. Malkowitz, even you, Leo, love you to death, but even you know what I'm talking about. You patent this 360 shit that all these motherfuckers are trying to emulate. And the way you patent the 360 deal wasn't the way that these motherfuckers matriculated it. And that's another thing I'm going to get into too. People sit there and they blame Leo Cohen for what he did. That's especially you too, Dame. You ain't telling the whole fucking truth, Dame. Yeah, he coined it. But who matriculated the 360 deal? That's the question. And you don't ever bring that up, Dame Dash. I'm talking to you. You don't never bring that up. Who matriculated the 360 deal? Yes, Leo invented it, but who matriculated it? It was black faces that matriculated it. That's who. And I'm going to get into that right now. I'll get back to Jaguar right in a minute, guys. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. This is the Begging for Cash Apps episode. This is what we're doing here. I got demonetized, so I can't even take freaking super chats or anything as almost a month and a half ago now. So we got another 2 months I gotta wait before I can reassess that. And really, if I have you guys supporting, I don't have to go over here begging the white man to reinstate me in that little AdSense campaign that's paying us content creators as minorities, and especially minority women, half of what they're paying white content creators. You don't believe me? Look it up. It's a CPM margin. All right. So CPM margin, look it up. So what happened was, and I'm going to use Leo's 360 deal as an example. You have a lot of these people that have been in the industry for a long while, okay? You know their faces and everything like that, and I'm talking about your favorite guy, whoever it is. I ain't going to call out nobody specific. But a lot of these guys have been in the music industry for 20, 25 years, some of them, some of them almost 30 years in the case of Puff. And so what they do is they basically, they become slaves to the people they're working for. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning they want to emulate who these people are. They want to follow the direction of what these people do. They want to act like them. They want to talk like them. They want to party like them. So really what it's about is not influence, but what it's about is being a doppelganger and assimilating yourself into an environment that you've never been in. See, these people, especially in New York City, these people come from the housing projects. These people come from poverty, many of them. You understand? And there's a lot of people that in the industry that are actually educated. Make no mistake about it, Dame Dash is educated. The kid went to fucking private school. You don't never tell people that, do you? He went to a fucking Catholic prep school. I like Dame, though. He went to a Catholic prep school. How do I know this? Because I grew up in the same similar background. That's how the fuck I know. So you got guys that are actually educated and they get in there. But what they do a lot of times, with the exception of Dame, what they do sometimes, underline that, with the exception of Dame, let me say that 2 times. What they do is they get in there, and the first thing they do is they start, let me kiss your ass. Let me kiss your ass. That's why I'm quick to notice it when I see other people do this type of behavior and they kiss an ass, or they're creating scenarios because of pure simple fact they want certain people to believe this is who they are, but this is not who you are. You're a piece of shit. You understand? And so you put these type of individuals in the game for 10, 15, 20 years. They've had 10, 15, 20 years at minimum to kiss ass of white high-ups. And what happens is these same people, what they start doing at that point is they start not giving a fuck about the artists. They start not giving a fuck about the music and everything like that. This is why you saw Bobby Shmurda and them boys up there dancing on the fucking table up there at fucking Epic Records. You understand what I'm saying? Now, y'all think that was new to y'all. Y'all couldn't believe it, but that ain't new. That ain't new. That ain't new. Ask Dame. He know. He was A&R. That ain't new. That ain't new. That ain't new. Actually, that was light in comparison to some of the shit I've seen and heard that happens if these see when you do that, and he was in that room, Bobby Shmurda and all them were in that room. If y'all know the footage, you know. If you don't, you don't. But when they was in that room, what that was that was leaders of each one of the departments, the marketing department, PR department, investors, etc., etc., etc. They're all in a meeting to decide whether or not they can make the project work forward. It's pretty much an example board. You know what I mean? And so after that, they'll come to the conclusion. They'll say, okay, this is what I could do with this person. This is how I envision them. This is how I see them dressed. This is how I see them, this, that, and other, and third. What type of budget do you think they're worth? Blah, blah, blah. All these discussions happen after that person has performed in that room. You understand what I'm saying? To one degree or another. Now, if they still do this, I doubt it very seriously, because everybody they're grabbing is mostly off of fucking Instagram or some shit like that, or whatever. But once you put your name on that dotted paper, I'm pretty sure you go through the same process for the most part. Nobody's just going to blindly give somebody $300,000 or $400,000 for some artist they don't think is going to make it. You have to be a fucking idiot for that. But nevertheless, what happens is, you get these people that have been in the music industry and they've been doing the same type of segue in linear fashion year after year after year after year. Now we're getting into decades. And these motherfuckers have now created a mentality where it's narcissism and it's all about me. I don't give a fuck about the culture. I don't give a fuck about these kids we signing. I don't give a fuck if they get locked up for all them guns they had. Fuck them, let them sit there, even though LA motherfucking Reid is ahead of Epic Records at the time, and $1 million to bail them boys out was a drop in the bucket. You left them boys sitting there. Now, if you don't learn nothing from that example, they left Bobby Shmurda and them sitting there, and their bail was number 1.5. And they decided right then and there, the kids that had the hottest single in the fucking America at the time, who was worth at least every bit of 5 to 6 million, they wasn't worth 1.5. If you were smart, you would have let them boys out of there, got them that 1.5. You understand what I'm saying? Which I'm pretty sure y'all got compensated when y'all got out. They had to buy y'all out that deal when y'all got out. Individually, him, Roddy, all of them. I'm pretty sure if I sat down and talked to Rowdy, one of them, they would divulge that. They left them boys sitting in there. And so at that point, unless you were in the music business, but for the people that were in the music business, they saw it and woke up that moment. They was like, oh shit. And that was the first time that it happened, because previously, except for Russell Simmons, and I never seen this on a documentary, he ain't gonna pick up Slick Rick. You understand? So this is the practice that the older heads had. You get locked up in prison, you sitting there. I'll come visit you. I'll come sing you commissary. That's what Russell Simmons said by sitting in the back of his motherfucking limo coming from seeing fucking Slick Rick. Y'all remember that? I remember it. You understand what I'm saying? I learned then. So I was like, okay, so we got these multimillionaires. I'm not talking about, I don't get any paying attention to thousandaires. If you're a thousandaire and you over 45 years old, nigga, you a loser in my book. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you back on the come up, you understand? But if you fronting and flashing and your thing is being a thousandaire, you know what a thousandaire is, right? This is the motherfucker that think $4,000 is a lot. Nigga, we had budgets for one individual for the weekend that was $4,000. For the weekend, that was $4,000. So learn how to differentiate your thousandaires, your millionaires, and your billionaires. This is real talk. You're not talking to somebody that's unaccomplished. You're not talking to somebody that's from the streets. You're not talking to somebody that didn't go to college. You're talking to a college graduate that has been around big fucking money, made big fucking money, and I know the difference. That's why I'm insulted when I get a motherfucker that look halfway dirty as shit and only got $2,000 in his pocket trying to front and stunt in the local corner store. Nigga, kill yourself now. You ain't gonna make it. And they can't see this future ahead of them. Goddamn rent $1,500 right now, at minimum. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at all these individuals, and there's more and more and more of them as time progressed after Bobby Shmurda them's incident. More and more of them start divulging themselves. And more of them start coming online or whatever the case may be, and they start divulging that how much, you know what I'm saying, they care about the culture or whatever. But behind the scenes, motherfucker, your actions don't show that. See, if you cared about the culture, when I was up and I was in a long-standing, loyal, devoted motherfucker to this shit right here. Devoted. If anybody say anything about me that used to work with me, they're going to tell you one thing. I'm a loyal motherfucker. I'll ride with you till the wheels fall off. But if I see you ain't riding with me, fuck you, and I'll push you into the fucking water or off the bridge. That's how I am. I've always been like that. I always will be like that. You know, my dad was like that. I ride with you. My dad ran his own business. I ride with you. But if you fuck me over, I'll push you over the bridge. I'll help you. So God bless his heart. That's what he would have told me. So you get these people and these individuals that are in the game that have black faces and brown faces, black and Latin, and they're on there and they're fucking over their own people. You understand what I'm saying? Whether it's paperwork, whether it's, and I know you guys are saying what you're saying about Puff or whatever. But let me tell you something about those guys. And I had to come to this realization. And I said this to two individuals now that I used to work with. I've said this to their faces. I said, do you realize we were working for motherfuckers at the time that were 26 through 35, 40 years old and were learning the music game themselves from white individuals, such as Clive Davis, such as Todd, and a lot of these other people that they came in contact with that they had to do business with. You know what I'm saying? And Todd, I don't mean keep shouting your name out like that, baby, but it's got to be said. It's got to be said. So they sat there and they learned off these people who had been Grimes and Horns and all that shit all their entire life. And I know a lot of y'all want to hear the gossip about Jaguar, whatever. Come on back later then. But they learned from these people. And what happens is they started taking on some of the attributes of these people. So these people innately, some of them are very evil. You understand what I'm saying? Some of them have real malice intent. And they started acting like them. And they started acting like them and treating their own people like that, where these people that I mentioned, they wouldn't do that with their own people. They only do that with people they feel they can get over on. That's the difference. You understand what I'm saying? They only feel like that with people that don't look like them. That's the difference. And if you were black or Latin in New York City at that time in the past 17 years that I worked in that company, you would know this. You understand what I'm saying? You would know this intimately. These companies don't give a fuck about you at the end. You understand what I'm saying? So it hurt my heart when I saw people that had established their companies, as black-owned companies or Latin-ran companies. And now you motherfuckers were facilitating the same damage that once upon a time had been inflicted on you. But now you were doing it to your own people. If you need a brighter example so you'll understand, it's kind of like a black slaver. You know, there was black people that owned slaves they would emancipate themselves or buying their freedom or whatever the case may be. And then they would go and they would set up and they would buy Indian slaves, Chinese slaves, and black slaves and have them work on the plantations with them. Look it up. It's history. It's American history. This is the difference between people that come here and they think they know history and they really don't know anything but current times versus people that really know America's history. You understand? And as y'all can see, I'm very affluent on knowing American history. It was one of my subjects in college. I took it as an elective. So I'm thinking to myself and I'm saying to myself, okay, everyone needs to respect everyone. This is beginning to be a mess, Mama Lisa. Mama Lisa, let me tell you something. And respectfully, I like you and everything, but I don't like that word, that it's a mess shit. That's some old kitchen hairdo slavery shit that's born in the instance of it solely speaks against. I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you. But whoever you picked that up from, and I'm pretty sure I know the vlogger you picked that up from, don't use that shit over here. I don't like those tribes, those ooh child. We don't do that shit over here. Thank you for leaving. So yeah, because I know people like that. I don't like people to do it. It's a mess. We're not over here gossiping. I'm telling y'all some shit that y'all should know. You should be hitting up my Cash App for telling y'all this shit, because most of these niggas that's even been in the industry, they ain't gonna tell you. And I keep trying to tell y'all that. And instead of supporting me, y'all go support the nigga that's gossiping, or y'all want to come in with gossip. No, we're not gossiping. I'm telling y'all the truth. And all you aspiring artists, I've got an artist right now, right, that's popping right now. And this bitch really thinks she's popping because of her. No, bitch, you're popping because I made 3 or 4 phone calls and talked to people and said, yo, pay attention to her. Next thing you know, now This DJ want to talk to you. This guy want to talk to you. This record label want to talk to you. And you think it is all you. What, in the course of 6 months, bitch, are you crazy? No, it happened because I put your shit on my other social media page. I showed people, I sent your shit to people because I believed in you. Guess this much. This bitch won't even talk to me. She won't even talk to me. I'm talking about right now, currently. I just had this whole fucking discussion the other night. The whole fucking discussion, like literally had it down. I was like, you thought it was you that did that? No, that was me. That was me. If you literally think that you're that good and you could just pop off in 6 months and it was an accident, come on, or it was you. I was like the chick I got, like I was trying to tell you guys, I got a chick. I ain't gonna say what record label it is, but I got a chick over 5, maybe 6 years ago, hired at one of the best record labels you could think of, right? Well, not one of the best, but one of the longest running record labels out there. I definitely won't say the best because y'all motherfuckers ain't put out a hit maker in a while. But I got this young lady hired there. And shortly after I got, this was before I got fired. Well, our department got fired, rather, not just me individually. Before I got fired, I remember I didn't speak to this woman for a minute. So when time came around, and this was before the pandemic, I called up to that office, and the motherfuckers at that office, you know I'm telling the truth, because I made sure I got the name of the person, the receptionist up there, and I called up there just for a goof to see if the same person was there, and you're there. So you know what I'm saying is the truth. I called up there, and I asked to speak to this young lady, and this young lady said, oh, I don't know who that is. You don't know who the fuck I am. So I said, well, maybe she just forgot, natural mistake or whatever. So I called the second time. Bitch says the same thing. Oh, I told you I don't know him. Oh, you don't know me. It was probably that bitch right there. That's why she logged off. You know who I'm talking about. That's why. Don't you tell me I ain't did shit for women. I've done a lot of shit for women. I brought bitches up to MTV, had them dance for 2 or 3 seasons. I brought chicks over to fucking BET to 106 and Park and had to jump off right there and became part of the fucking cast. I've done a lot of shit for women. Every woman on this motherfucker should be donating some money to me right now. I never got joy from seeing someone's demise or decline. Well, you know, Mama Lisa, you might have unintentionally did it and not even realize it. And that's what we're here to discuss about, miss. But let me finish this and I'm going to go into what you're talking about because you said something. Say your Cash App name again. It's STRINGERBELL80. That's STRINGERBELL80. It's also found in the link in the description box and it's also actually in the title. So you can find it there if you have any problem. And thank you very much for donating. I appreciate you. She said something very pointed that I want to get into. She just said, because she just said some real stuff there. So let me just finish this off. That woman at that time did 2 times and acted and pretended like she ain't know who I was. And I said, yo, you know what? I don't even got to do this no more. And at first I was just going to go up there and I said, well, no, then I'll embarrass you and me up in this motherfucker. So I didn't. You understand what I'm saying? I later on saw her the top of, I think it was this past November or so, and I came online and I told you guys about it. And she tried to give me the job story. Oh, I just been sick and I'm tired. I don't remember people's names. And oh my God, and blah, blah, blah. Ran into her right in Manhattan. Let me tell y'all something. Manhattan is a small place. You go in Manhattan, you'll see a motherfucker from Queens that you know. There go that motherfucker right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think just because you in New York. New York City is small. New York State is huge. You understand? But everybody come to Manhattan or they go to the Bronx or they go to fucking Queens over there, the Queens Coliseum Mall over there. Please believe that. So I'm sitting there and I had this conversation with this young lady. I'm going to wrap it up. And I just sat her and I walked away from her and I said, yo, don't worry about it. You good. I gave her a hug and everything. Just walked off. I said, I'll never do that shit again. I'll never do that shit again. So don't tell me about helping women and shit like that. I've been helping women for the past 20 fucking years get jobs where they making $120,000 plus a year, helping them get on MTV where they further their career later on, be on. I devised a pathway for one particular woman where not only did she go from that, she later on went to another show that Burnham and Murray produced. Have you forgotten? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell you. The majority of blacks and Latins in the industry are not very loyal. They loyal to the dollar. And they argue and try to demise the ones that are actually naturally in it because of pure simple fact, this is what they like to do. This is who they are. You understand what I'm saying? I fit in that category. My intentions were when I saw Puff for the first time on TV. I remember that I was still in high school, and I was like in ninth grade, 10th grade, or something like that. When I first saw Puff, my intention was, yo, that's the dude I've been waiting for, because I was fond of what Def Jam was doing, but I felt it was already established, and it wasn't. And Russell Simmons is like 60 something now, so it wasn't my era. Like, okay, I can respect the artists he had, but as far as the accompaniment of them, it just wasn't for me. You understand? So I was like, okay, this ain't my foray, or whatever the case may be. So moving forward, I saw Puff. And I said, oh, this is where I want to be. Da, 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 da. And I'm not saying this about you, Puff. All right. So don't start that fucking shit again. And I'm not saying this about you, Chrome. And I'm not saying this about anybody, those people that I work with, the guys who were out there busting ass, the guys that were out there with me at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we wake up in the fucking van from sleeping. I'm not talking about those guys. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys that sat up in the office. I'm talking about the guys that went and ate 4K and went and ate fucking steak and shit like that. And you know what I mean? Went for a vacation for the weekend. They returned back to the office Monday morning. You know, I'm going to go to Miami for this weekend. I'm going to go to Europe for this weekend. I'm going to go to France for this weekend. I'm not talking about the guys that worked with us and busted their ass, the real nuts and grit of the fucking company. I'm talking about you fuckers that got up there and made millions very quickly. Y'all forgot about the niggas that were behind you. And that's something that you're going to have to come to contemplation with. And what I hate is that some of you motherfuckers, and I got to include you in this, Puff, you too, y'all know this. And you know I know this because it was that time, and we verified that everything I was saying was the truth. Was that time you went at the Billboard luncheon and you said, I want to thank these guys for working so hard and digitally. And in my opinion, you should have said that shit 10 years ago, nigga. And after, we came out of this pandemic and everybody's strong and hard or whatever, this is the whole fucking world that was affected. We're not talking about a neighborhood that was affected or a fucking borough that was affected or the tri-state. This is the whole fucking world that was affected. So make sure that core niggas, fuck a motherfucker that worked with you for 1 or 2 years. You understand what I'm saying? Or a motherfucker that worked with you for 4 or 5 years. You're talking about guys that worked with you for 15, 16, 17, some cases 20 years. Drop every last one of them motherfuckers 10 grand. The same way you be partying with them white boys and motherfucking Turks and Caicos. The same way you be partying with them white boys down in Miami. Same way you be partying with them white boys out in motherfucking the West Coast and spending $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 within the first hour you're there. That's all we were saying. And you don't find people in the industry that will do that. Most of the time, what these people do, including what they did to Jaguar Wright, is they will say, fuck you now. Because that's what the white heads have taught them. It's a learned behavior. So it goes deep, and I never get to talk this out because every time I start talking it out, some fucking body wants to interrupt me. Hold up. But you can't say that because Puff works real hard and da-da-da. You had fucking employees. You ain't make it by yourself. You understand? You didn't do this by yourself. You needed every last one of us was a mechanism within your motherfucking machine, buddy. You understand? And most people, when I speak of this, or they still to this day see that old video I had, I'm never taking that down. That's part of me. I'm never taking that down because that represents a moment I went through and I went through by myself. The moment that I found out, okay, the culture don't fuck with me like I fuck with the culture. So a lot of times when you guys hear me say certain shit up on here, y'all get shocked and owled when I say it. I'm saying it for a fucking reason. And it's the same thing you guys did to Jaguar. And that's why I wanted to bring this full circle. Because the same thing that happened to me happened to her. She got left alone. And all the people and a lot of the people that could have came to her defense, listen, I saw her just call young Chris. I saw her call motherfucking the girl from Poetry. These people are still touring. These people still get dates. And whether they only getting 2, 3 grand, 5 grand a show at minimum, you know what I'm saying? I think the girl from Poetry, since they got hits, and I think they got some type of accolade. I'm not sure which one. I want to say they won a Grammy, but I'm not sure. I know Young Chris and Neef. No respect to y'all niggas, but I know y'all ain't win no Grammy. But I think the girls from Poetry, they won a Grammy for one of the show. But regardless, we have friends still to this day that we talk to, we interact with or whatever. And these people are worth millions. And you're telling me you're seeing one of your brethren, but you get up on TV You get up on here and there and you talk about this black excellence, but in reality, the only people that they're talking about is those that are currently rich and look like this. I'm gonna say it for you one more time. When they say that black excellence shit or Latin excellence shit or whatever, they're talking about people that look like this but are rich. And the only way you can be recognized by them again is if you become rich in public. They might talk to you behind the scenes. They might be cool with you. They be like, you ask them for a couple $100, $3,000, $5,000. They go, oh, no, you got to work hard. If I have to work hard to build myself back up, I don't want to fuck with you. Matter of fact, I'm now contemplating on every fucking way that I can get rid of you. You understand what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. I want to get rid of you. I want you to feel the same way I feel. And whether I have to buy your entities or your properties or whatever the fuck I have to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to look every last one of you. I'm going to leave you just enough to survive. You remember I said that. I wanted to be partners with a lot of people in the industry. I wanted a lot of people to be like, hey, this is a guy, da, 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 da. You know, I wanted to shake hands. And so many people, when they meet me, they always ask me that, yo, who are you? You are this or that. And, you know, I have some people that think I'm a musician. Some people will think I'm an actor. Some people will think I'm this, that. I always give them presence that I'm someone, you know, and I notice and I say, okay, so it's still there, you know, and I know that from 17 years of working with a now multi-billionaire. You see what I'm saying? Plus a multi-billionaire. These guys, I told you guys a story before. I've seen when the Brinks truck has pulled up 5 times at fucking Club Live and fucking what's the name down in Miami, King of Diamonds in Miami. And I'll see that fucking Brinks truck pull up time after time after that's niggas getting over $50,000 each time that truck pulls up. That truck don't come out unless you want over $10,000. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you want over $10,000, that truck is not pulling out of that lot. Unless you want over $25,000, that truck is not pulling out of that lot. In case you want on more than 50, 100,000, that truck's not pulling out of that lot. With those security guards. The security guards enough for that fucking Brinks truck and all that shit, those armored trucks. It's about, I think those guys make something like $200 an hour, $180 an hour. That Brinks truck ain't pulling out unless you want 10 plus. This is the Begging for Cash Apps episode, guys. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. $sign STRINGERBELL80. That's STRINGERBELL80 on Cash App. Make sure y'all hit this up and support. I've been dumbed down to only doing 1 or 2 shows a week. I put up some uploads and episodes and stuff like that or whatever with the pre-rolls and, you know, things like that, quick edits or whatever. I did one, I uploaded about Kanye West and I got demonetized. So this is what it is right now. So make sure y'all please support this channel. If y'all like anything that I'm saying, I guess it's gossiping too, but it's not the guy that gossiping that y'all want to hear. Which I want to pull in on what Mama Lisa said. Mama Lisa said something interesting. She said, I never got joy from seeing someone else's demise or decline. Well, let me tell you, Mama Lisa, let me go into that. There are people that do. There are people that do. Excuse me. And they particularly, unfortunately enough, I want to say this the right way. They particularly, unfortunately enough, take more pride in when the people look like you. When they look like them, you know? And if you don't believe me, just think about every artist that you've seen that quote unquote fell off or whatever. See, there's no insurance. There's no 401k. There's none of this shit. And Puff and Baby and all you motherfuckers should have mastermind. If y'all want, listen, here's one for free from Professional, right? The loyal nigga. Remember me? Of course you do. I'm still in contact with these motherfuckers. Don't make a mistake about it. This is family business. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta talk to family like this so they get the fuck what you saying. But because I've always been the guy around the office that everybody be, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh shit, he was right. You know what I'm saying? I've always been that guy. Like from the time I was there up until now, even now on YouTube. They're like, yo, what the fuck is he talking about? Oh shit, he was right. You know what I'm saying? It's always been like that. So I'm used to it now. Noriega brought this up on Drink Champs one time, and he was talking, ironically enough, to Prez and Jadakiss. They were sitting down. Leo Cohen had done the first half, and one of the Lightly brothers had did the first half of the show. And I remember Noriega said, do you think there should be some kind of insurance plan or some type of cash out or some type of unionization of the rap industry? Now, right now, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Right now, the employees at Starbucks are trying to form a union. Everybody in the fucking Starbucks Corporation is trying to stop this from possible so bad that they actually had to have congressional hearings on this shit. Many people don't realize that you can go back as far as 30 years and file claims on fucking different type of worker related issues. You can go back as far as 25, 30 years. And they will get concluded by the Department of Labor and everybody else. So you won't beat them. There's a lot of motherfuckers you'll beat, but you ain't beating the fucking Department of Labor. I don't care. Most people that are smart businessmen or businesswomen, they'll cash out and be like, all right, how much you need? You know what I'm saying? Before they do that. Now, if I was a dirty motherfucker, I would have done that. And there's many of people that would have taken the case because of the celebrity that's involved. But I'm not a dirty motherfucker like that. Like I said, Pro is loyal. I've always been loyal. If you can't see it, that's your problem. But I've always been loyal. I'm loyal to my friends. I'm loyal to my family. I'm loyal to a lot of people that, quite honest with you, I shouldn't be loyal to. I have every reason not to be loyal to. I have every reason to jump on this motherfucker and tell you all the business that I've seen of personal individuals over the 17 years. And how much shit do you think that is? 17 motherfucking years. Do you have any idea the amount of shit that I've seen go down? Even when you think I'm not paying attention, I was paying attention. Yeah, I was in the streets before I got up there. Nigga, I'm looking at this shit like, oh shit, what's this shit worth? What's this worth? And I never took nothing. I never stole nothing. I never did any of that. You ain't got me on camera doing that. You ain't got me on camera taking any money, altering budgets, anything. Oh, what did I say? Altering, but oh shit. Anyway, you ain't got me for none of that. So the problem is, there isn't anything left. And all of them know, and Puff, you know this out of your own lips because you said it. He said, the problem is, and I remember you saying this recently, a lot of these niggas, you know, they get mad when they fizzle off. First of all, you shouldn't be even thinking about a motherfucker fizzling off as fucking talented as you are. Motherfucker, you should keep the incorporation of keeping them fizzling. Can't stop, won't stop, nigga. We ain't going nowhere. Remember all that? You forgot? You forgot, huh? We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. Now, some of y'all walked y'all way into it. Like Mark Curry, that shit you be doing over there, I don't fuck with that. You understand what I'm saying? Gene, I love you to death, but that shit you do over there, that's personal. I don't fuck with that. You understand what I'm saying? And I've never went that route because I always knew at the end of the day, sometimes people, they say things and they move certain ways and they do certain things and certain things translate because they're in the moment. You understand what I'm saying? With 10, 15 years outside of that, you could be looking back and be like, yo, you know when we had that moment? Such as the case with Little Kim, such as the case with Lil C's, such as the case with many other people that have been around the team, been around the family. I understand, you know? But what bothered me the most was I couldn't find one motherfucker from the Bad Boy alumni to be like, yo, Pro, here go $10,000, man, because I don't even like how you online with that shit right now. You understand what I'm saying? No. Motherfuckers instead came to me and be like, yo, you gotta stop that. Well, nigga, give me some money. That's the fucking reason I'm on here now. Like, I care about the people, care what's going on, but if you see me in need, hit me with a stack or two, niggas, I can get right. And that's what New Yorkers used to do. The New Yorkers I know, that's what they used to do. They go stack, man. This is, you know, don't make us look bad. If anything, that makes you look bad. Ex-employee or bad boy. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you'll put all the energy into matriculating that and making it look any old kind of other way than what it looked. But, nigga, I was part of the company for 17 years. There's no escaping that. I got pictures with you niggas in every kind of intimate location you could think of across the country. You can't escape that. As much as you want to, you could talk it off with me. You understand what I'm saying? But if I really wanted to get funky, you can't talk it off with a lawyer. You can't talk it off with the Department of Labor. You can't talk it off with these motherfuckers. No, you're under litigation now, nigga. Don't you understand? You understand? And if I get this 3 people along with me, you definitely under litigation. And now that 10,000 goes in maybe into 100,000 plus and some change when you could have just gave the 10 grand. That's crazy. Well, Puff and all those guys, including Russell Simmons, never did was they never set up a union. And right now, Starbucks and many other different places, and Starbucks in the equation to Puff, you know what I mean? And so I'm thinking to myself, why didn't any of these guys start a union? Why didn't any of these guys, I'm talking about health insurance is not included in being a rapper, dentist is not included in being an artist, all this shit you got to pay for yourself. Now, some companies over the years, they have worked some different things into certain contractual agreements, but that's individual. And that depends on you as the artist itself. Make no mistake about it, there's no health insurance, there's no dental insurance, there's no life insurance, except if the company puts the life insurance on you personally, or the individual person that signed you puts you under a lifetime. This ain't the company that's putting you under a life insurance term. It would have to be idiots to do that, because then it calls under investigation. You mean like you got 18 different artists that died for such and such record label? No, it goes under the names of individuals, the life insurance policy, or maybe a family member or somebody they really trust. But trust me, it's there. We had different policies under us when we would travel to certain places because of the rapacity of violence. Like in Miami, it's very violent there. I tell you guys this all the time. Don't go down muttering and just hanging down in Miami. You don't know where the fuck you are. Don't let them fucking palm trees down there fool you. I live down there. I know the place. I got friends there. I'm trying to tell you, you will get twisted the fuck up fucking around in Miami. Now, the thing that busts my bubble is, once these guys go, the first thing that happens is, and this is what happened with Jaguar. I've had some of this happen with myself and others, and that's why I took that long route. But I wanted to make you guys understand. Once this happened and these artists fall off or they're done or whatever the hell else you want to say, the first thing these motherfuckers that do, that have never done anything in comparison, is they jump online and they try to make fun of these people. You know, the guy that's formerly a millionaire, or the guy, whether it was $1 million or $2 million or $3 million or $30 million, this is the person they want to make fun of now, because they take pride in seeing your decline, because they know personally they'll never reach that elk ever, especially if they're over 40 years old and they ain't did it by now. See, you can be 35, 40, 45 years old. Don't let nobody tell you differently. And you can launch yourself into the music industry. You understand what I'm saying? The problem is, if you have not been practicing for the past 10 or 15 years, and now you want to start at 35, 40, 45 years old, well, that's going to be a little bit different, because now different questions are going to come into play. Have you ever released anything prior to this? Have you ever performed anywhere prior to this? Have you ever had any physical sales or digital sales prior to you coming to see us? And unless that record, or unless that project or whatever you're presenting went viral heavily, most of the time these people ain't gonna fuck with you. You know, you're gonna be on your own until you sell a substantial amount of albums or records or whatever, or singles, and which can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but more likely it ain't gonna happen unless you probably from like 20, 25. Like, for example, I have been doing music since I was 16 years old. I started out writing poems, okay? I was writing poems for girls. I used to have a little girlfriend I liked. Her name was Christy Bryan. I swear to God, the reason I liked her, she looked just like Halle Berry at the time. Shout out to Christy Bryan, her sister Kim Bryant down south. But she looked just like Halle Berry to me. She was biracial, real pretty, and she was really, 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 really nice to me. And that's the biggest thing I like about women. I like a woman to be nice to me. I don't care if you're anything else. You ain't got to have a big ass. You ain't got to have big breasts. You ain't got to have the best look in the world. You ain't got to dress the best. The only thing I'm concerned about is if you're nice to me. Because if you're not nice to me, this will be the same bitch that'll be reluctant to call the fucking ambulance when you laying down on the ground. You understand what I'm saying? So having a nice woman, fellas, versus having a bad chick or a baddie or whatever the fuck else y'all want to call these goofy ass bitches nowadays, that's the difference. From you getting sick, laying in the bed, and having the need to have the hospital be called or some shit like that. You understand? And you only gonna find very few women that you can notice from Fresh and Fit, this Pearly Things, and all these other horrible ass bitches is out here. That's the main thing that you got to find in life. You got to find you a wife that if she ever need to call 911 and have that ambulance come pick you up, it's coming. And she gonna stand right there with you until that motherfucking ambulance comes. It's more important to have a wife like that or a girlfriend like that, I would say more importantly at 20, 25 than it is in your elder years. Because if you got her at 20, 25, you understand what I'm saying? She's gonna care even more now that y'all 50, 60 years old. See what I'm saying? So make sure, fellas, y'all do that. Instead of falling behind these baddie bitches, which most of them, they reek of poverty. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know how to just listen. We used to know how. There's a scene in Boys in the Hood. You ever see Boys in the Hood? And Ice Cube is drinking the 40 ounce and he hands it to Regina King's character in the movie. And she drinks the whole damn 40. And he says, "You better take your ass to the store with that shit." Or that part where Ice Cube say, "Shut up, bitch." You know what I mean? We got to get back to them days because there's a lot of women out here running their mouth and acting them up and think they deserve some shit. I'm like, I can't be looking crazy on TV. You know what I'm saying? And thinking they deserve something. They really don't deserve nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, in a normal world, ain't nobody having you before the night. Yeah, they won't have you for the night, but then they going to make you your wife. You know what I'm saying? That's the question. I can have you for the night, but you ain't a wife. You see what I'm saying? So that's a big difference with it. I don't care how big your ass is. I don't care about none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's great to look at and everything like that. But after 15, 20 years you being with this broad, you start looking at other things like, okay, yeah, mommy got a fat ass and everything, but yo, I got sick last week and this bitch wouldn't even take me to the hospital. I got sick last week. This bitch wouldn't even make me something to eat or bring me some medicine while I was asleep. So, you know what I'm saying? Those things are important. Anyway, a lot of the music that I ended up developing later on, right? It was pinpointed at women. You understand what I'm saying? So I remember the first rap I did it with a partner of mine. His name was Mike Vanilla. Shout out to Mike. He's a school teacher now and married. You know what I'm saying? But Mike is half Mexican and half white. That's my homeboy right there. I love him to death to this day. Mike Vanilla. And I remember we did this joint and it was about girls. It was like, after these messages, it won't be back. And we took the beat from MC Light, keep on, keeping on. And she had Escape on that shit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up MC Light featuring Escape. You'll know the song. We used that beat. And I remember the first reaction I got from people, and I can still envision it in my head to this day. And people were just blown away by what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like we were doing some real authentic shit. Then after that, I started doing my own joints solo from Mike. And I think that's where we fell apart. And we didn't speak for a couple of years because he felt like I left him. And unfortunately, I did. But he was a good friend. I still love him to this day. So, Mike, if you see this, man, salute to you. You know what I'm saying? And I can say I made it for both of us. I literally made it for both of us. I had a great ride for both of us, and that's not the first time that's happened. I've had other people that I tell them, yo, come on, man, come on, come on. And they miss out on the opportunity or whatever. Man, hey, that's just what it is. I'm glad I made the decision I made. I got to see the United States fucking 30 times over. I've stayed at some of the best hotels, ate some of the best food. I didn't even know what chicken fuck qua was, motherfucker. I'm gonna be live with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what that shit was. I've had everything from snails, oysters. I've eaten good. I've lived good. I've partied good. I was there when Ciroc first dropped. I was there when Revolt TV was a fucking idea. This is a fact. So I've had a great run. What I hate to see and what she was talking about here is after all that hard work and after I guess go off into the shadows or whatever the case else y'all want to say. The sad thing that remains is nobody gives a fuck after that. You asked them what some of your favorite artists were that you were just listening to maybe 3-4 years ago. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about Fetty Wap no more. But Fetty Wap still commands a crowd. And until he came back out with the single just a minute ago, you know what I'm saying? Can I get to the yams? You know what I'm saying? Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. And so they don't care. And Fetty Wap's got a case right now. So nobody gives a shit if you survive or you die or whatever. But we're all running around and yelling this black excellence bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And it's confusing. Because I'm like, no, that means that you take care of the people all together. That doesn't mean you separate yourself and be like, oh no, I'm better than them because I don't believe it. And a lot of y'all have this fake holier than thou attitude and personality is just fake. Because if we put you on a judgment scope, when you get to heaven or the midpoint between heaven and hell, there's a scale. This is what they say. It's a scale. And on one side of the scale, they weigh all your good deeds. And then on another side of the scale, they weigh all your fucking trifling deeds and everything that you've done wrong to everybody, everything that you said in secret, the true meaning of your heart and how you really feel inside or whatever. And that's weighed too. And if it weighs more than your heart on the other end, your sins, then you're headed to the abyss. And so when I hear a lot of people sit around and they say, "Oh, God, this," and pray, because a lot of people like to use those terms very loosely now, and they really have mistakes. See, a lot of times you can think it's God, and it's really the devil helping you. You think it's God, and it's really the devil helping you. See, God gets you money that you need. The devil gets you money that you never knew you could have. That's the difference. I say that for you one more time. God gets you the money that you need. The devil presents you money that you never knew you could have. One of those perfect examples of it is a man named, I believe his name was Robert Johnson. He had the story of meeting, and I know this is old for me too. This is like the 1930s, 20s, or something like that. And he had the story of how he met the devil himself and made a deal with the devil. And he said, "The only thing I want you to do is make me famous." And he said, "Okay, but you got to pay this back at the end." You understand what I'm saying? And he said, Robert said, "No, that's no problem." He didn't realize it was waiting for him at the end. So I say that a lot of times, a lot of times the devil will help you out because he wants you to exceed and continue so something else can facilitate that may be bad in your life. You understand? So make no mistake, every time when you scream out, "Oh, God did it." No, that might be the devil that kept you here because he has a better cause and purpose for you. Anyway, I saw so many, Robert Cray, actually, that's what that man's name is. Y'all can look him up. You understand exactly what I'm talking about. Met him in the middle of the highway. Met the devil, made a deal with the devil. Anyway, there's been a lot of people that have said these things. I've heard Robert Clapton say these things. I've heard, who else say this? Heard Ozzy Osbourne give his version of it, say he made a deal with the devil, whatever. All this to become famous. None of those people have never fell off. They're still rich. So now I think Black culture has adapted the same type of sensibility in Latin culture too. Well, you're rich, you should always be rich. No, that's not the case. Red Fox, when he died, he was flat ass fucking broke. They auctioned Red Fox shit off the day after he died, sitting on his fucking front yard. They auctioned his shit out on his front fucking yard of his estate 2-3 days after he died. You know that? Who else? What's this guy's name that used to be with Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon? They did the same thing to Ed McMahon. They auctioned off his shit to pay back years and years and years. That's the penance of it. You motherfuckers making these little trinkets and needles are sitting around acting like $80,000, $100,000 is a lot of money. You got bitches that grew up in the projects of public housing talking about, "I need me a man to make $400,000 a year." Why? Because you can't. You got bitches that got OnlyFans that are sitting around and they know, listen, prostitution goes all the way back to Mary Magdalene in the Bible, yeah? You got girls that jump on OnlyFans, shake a little ass or whatever, and these simp-ass men that were raised mostly by single mamas, bad single mamas, not the good single mamas that send their son off to NBA, NFL, college, become lawyers, doctors, dentists, not those single moms. No, we're talking about the shitty single moms. The bitch is still in the club at 48. We talking about them single moms. You understand what I'm saying? You have these motherfuckers, and I call it the simp economy, fueling these women. These men will go on these girls' OnlyFans accounts, not only subscribe to the shit, but sit there and give these women hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars in tips, but will turn around and not even help me or any of the other fellow men achieve because of their lust. Because they've grown up in an environment where their mama was lust after. So now they feel that they must lust after women as a reserve. Well, men lusted after my mama. That's what my mama did, so I'm going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? There's some goofy motherfuckers out here like that. Believe it or not. There's some ugly men out here that have no other option than to pay for pussy. You got to pay for everything. Now, I'm not trying to be cocky, but listen, niggas used to get mad at me about this. Let me tell y'all some real shit, right? Let me tell y'all some real shit. And if I'm lying, I'm dying, and it's here on video for you to hear me say this. And I dare motherfucker know me, tell me something otherwise. I used to know guys, and they couldn't understand it. They would be like, "Yo, how come this thing ain't got the used Benz or the used BMW or the used this or whatever?" And I said, "Cause I don't need that shit. Y'all motherfuckers need that because the girls won't talk to y'all any other way other than that. I'm good looking. I speak two languages. I get chicks automatically. I walk up in the room, my presentation, the way I dress, the way I look, I get girls automatically. This is the truth. It's the same to this day. I'm not trying to act like a fuck cocksucker, act like an asshole, but it is what it is. A ugly man, on the other hand, a ugly man got to go out of his way. You understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you the difference between an ugly man and a good looking man. You put an ugly man and a good looking man in the same room, divided by a whole bunch of girls, and I've been in this situation a million times. Like I said, I've been all around the country with Bad Boy Entertainment, partying, drinking, smoking cigarettes, and all kinds of shit. So you take an ugly man or a halfway looking decent man and put him in a room with a good looking man, what you're gonna find is this behavior. And I'm telling you guys, if you're one of these guys that is a good looking guy, you don't know what I'm talking about. You take these guys and you put them in a room with these ugly motherfuckers, and what you're gonna find is them ugly motherfuckers, they're gonna stop paying attention to the girls and they're gonna start paying attention to you because they're looking at you as the ops. They're looking at you as a comp. They're looking at you as the problem now. You understand what I'm saying? Because how dare you come in the room and look decent enough that now the women are looking at you and not my ugly ass and these drinks I'm paying for, or the room that I paid $500 for, where most other motherfuckers could fuck this broad on the beach on Ocean Drive. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, let me move back into the music industry shit. There's always and always will be a point of discretion when it comes to men of color and the fuel that they're giving women to achieve. There are women out here that are making millions and millions of dollars based off other men, and these same men will then jump online and they'll make fun of a fallen soldier, as I like to call, that was in the music industry, a fallen soldier, as I like to call, that was in the game, a fallen soldier, as I say, that's having a tough time or whatever. They will make their whole diatribe about them, and in this case, Jaguar Wright. So it's sad, but it is the case. Guys, my name is Davin Lewis. Make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. I put work into what I said. I'm sorry for my longtime listeners. I only do the lives once or twice a week. I was doing them at one point every day. Financially, that doesn't make sense to me. Hopefully, some of y'all will change my mind. If you donated, let me know. There's a PayPal link in the description box. There's also a Cash App right there down at the bottom of the screen and also in the title of this video. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, I want to segue into now that we talked about that, because y'all got to pay for the rest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be sitting up here telling y'all the game and everything. Let me see if anybody donated so I can make sure I shout anybody out. Y'all give me 1 second. Well, Mama, whatever her name is, she lied about donating. Mama Lisa. So we gotta block her. See what I mean? See, y'all see what I'm saying now? Don't make this shit up. Mama Lisa said, "What's your Cash App? I'm gonna donate." Right? She didn't donate a dime. It's cool. Thank you, Mama Lisa, for stopping by. I hope I helped out your blog, though. Listen, guys, let me say something before I get into the next topic. You ain't gotta lie about donating, homie. It's okay. It's really okay. Let me look one more time. Just make sure I'm right, and let me just look one more time this way. Give me 1 second, guys. Ain't that sad? We got people here. This is case in point. And that's cool, Mama Lisa. Thank you anyway. I'm not gonna disrespect you or nothing. I'll just block you later. But it's just crazy how, black and Latin people are amongst one another. I think I'm saying something more than any of these other vloggers on here. My time will come. I'm not worried about it. It'll be a time when everybody comes to my page and they want to talk to me, and I'm not gonna talk to any of you motherfuckers because I'm gonna treat you just like you treated me. But I'm not gonna get off of here without talking about this young man, because also, which is y'all due diligence and duty amongst all your gossiping and all that shit. You refed out this young boy that was shot in the head and in the chest, I believe, by this old 84-year-old old racist bastard because he knocked on the wrong door. And it hurt my heart, and I believe his name is Ralph Yarl. It hurt my heart that this 16-year-old boy not only got shot and is laying up in the hospital, but his family was able to raise $3 million for him. And for that motherfucker that disloyal dog, when I started talking about Ralph, I hope your whole fucking family gets hit by a bus. And the other two motherfuckers too, you piece of shit motherfuckers. I hope your whole fucking family gets hit by a fucking bus, you worthless piece of shit motherfucker. Anybody that will sit up here and log off, but I'm talking about this young man, and I know why some of y'all logging off. Some people are logging off because let me tell you the deepness of this, right? There's a problem that's going on in Black and Latin culture right now where not only they don't respect each other, but the problem is they sit there and they're so fake racist. Let me tell you what I mean by fake racist. You have a lot of Black and Latin people that sit around and act like they're racist, right? But you have no fucking power to be racist, for one. You understand what I'm saying? You could be biased, but you being racist, nobody gives a fuck, all right? And somebody need to tell y'all that. Nobody gives a fuck if you're racist, except for other dumb motherfuckers that feel the same way. Now, I'm not saying you're not justified in some of the quipes or whatever you have or whatever the case may be, but one of the problems I have is this. These people, I don't know if it was the mother or the father or one of them that dates white women, okay? And they've taken that based off that, and they've turned it and churned it to now they have hatred for Ralph. You understand what I'm saying? A 16-year-old boy that has nothing to do with who his parent is dating or whatever the case may be, or who he is. So in spirited fashion, I saw a whole bunch of Black and Latin women both online, in particularly two websites, and they were making fun and pointing this out. And they said, well, he can't get my support because he dated somebody white. Mind you, had this been a Black girl or a Latin girl that this had happened to, it would never be a question of whether or not what race this person was dating. It would have never came up. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, dig a little deeper in and you'll see what I'm talking about. There are actually people online outwardly saying on their posts and encouraging others not to deal with this person. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy to me. These PR campaigns, this is one thing I say Mama Lisa said, even though she didn't donate or contribute like she said she was, but that's fine. That's fine. I have become accustomed to knowing that if you're, and I hate to say this, if you're dealing with somebody Black or Latin, 70% of the time they're going to lie. That's how they get off on themselves. And then the other 30% that don't lie, like myself, they get accosted, they get made fun of, they get tried, but my time will come again. And I'm not worried about that. So I'll do what's right now because I need to do what's right on this one. Ralph is a 16-year-old kid, man. 16-year-old kid. And he was shot by a racist man that was 84 fucking years old for no more than his skin color. Unjustifiably. This kid didn't run up on his fucking whistle. This kid plays a fucking saxophone and is a nerd. And the same thing happened down there in Memphis a couple months ago. That guy was a nerd. You understand what I'm saying? And so what I started finding out was punk motherfuckers like that 84-year-old son of a bitch that shot him. I hope you croak and take on a sleigh ride to hell, you old miserable. That's that's one of the few times y'all gonna hear me say this. That's an old racist cracker right there. That's an old racist cracker. That's a racist cracker motherfucker right there. That's an old school white cracker. That old school white cracker shot this boy. Yeah, that's that South. I'm sorry, that's the South. You understand? This old racist cracker shot this 16-year-old boy. And that little boy, Ralph Yarl, could have been your your nephew, your cousin, your brother, whatever the case may be. And none of y'all motherfuckers said shit about Ralph Law because of who fucking one of his parents chooses his dating choices. And y'all let the influence of that come from Black women. And I hate to say it, I didn't see any black men saying this. Only black men I saw agreeing with this shit were motherfuckers who were trying to talk to the what they feel was a somewhat cute bitches that were putting these posts up. So I said, well, where the vloggers at talking about this shit then? Where they doing their due diligence at? Not one of them. I ain't seen one motherfucker talk about Ralph yet. And it's been 4 days. Well, they make a mention of it. They talk about it? No, they don't. These miserable motherfuckers would rather sit there and ignore the fact that what happened to this young man or whatever the case may be. And the Ralph, I want to say this. I seen that your family has raised over $3 million for you. But this fight is not over. It's deeper than that. It's not the first time some shit like that's happened. So for all that, the shit that y'all do, running around shooting at each other, fighting each other, whatever, I got a suggestion. I want y'all to put y'all money together. Go get this old ass 84-year-old cracker, because he ain't gonna do no jail time, and do the Lord's work. Now, I'm not suggesting that y'all do him dirty or whatever. I'm just saying, take him out for a drink, Take him out for a drink and a dinner by the bridge. Have a bridge, candlelight dinner. That's all I'm saying. Have a steak, cup of wine, a bridge candlelight dinner, and make sure you have it on top of a rock, and after you finish, you clean up and you finish eating, throw the rock in the water. That's all I'm saying, I think that Ralph's assailant needs to be bailed out, and I think you guys can help and contribute to bailing him out. That's all I'm saying. For you to sit there as a woman day after day after day online, and yes, I said, and I got the screenshots to prove what the fuck I'm saying. You bitches are more fucking interested right now, you old bitches. You bitches back from 94 Freaknik bitches is now mistakenly misappropriated and upset because your business is about to be put in the motherfucking limelight of who you really are versus this fucking facade that you present to people that we know within the culture. That's not who you are. You're usually the loudmouth, obnoxious, loud, please pay attention to me. If you give me more than 2 seconds of attention, I think I'm a princess type bitches. Y'all want to sue right now because of this Freaknik shit. And Hulu putting out this documentary. If you really think you're going to win that shit, you out your motherfucking mind. Bitch, you was a hoe then. That's what it is. Bitch, you was a hoe. All right? You was a hoe ass bitch. You had whole shit happen to you. I ain't saying there wasn't some sexual assaults that took place or whatever. But bitch, don't you remember Girls Gone Wild? Them motherfuckers used to ride around state to state in a fucking tour bus. Used to ride around state to state in a tour bus. Girls Going Wild. You talking about some fucking Freaknik that happened in Atlanta. These bitches are more concerned with suing Hulu than instead of throwing up advocacy for Ralph. This little 16-year-old boy that got shot in the head and in his fucking torso. You understand? And it's quite pragmatically part of the problem why these little motherfuckers are so running the buck right now. I just read another story, I believe it was in Detroit. 4 people got shot. This little boy got shot and killed at his sister's birthday party. His sister's birthday party. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that a lot of you women ain't doing the job by yourself. I ain't saying some of you women weren't put in that position, but every woman that's a single woman, ain't no way that y'all all got the same excuse. Oh, he left me. That ain't the chase. I see motherfucking daddies every fucking day, black and Latin, with their kids every fucking day. I see a lot of dudes that I've known personally that want no more than to be with their kids, fought for their kids, and got custody of them, whatever. So don't give me that bullshit. It said, and these girls, I want to quote this, and it's mostly little bitches too. These little bitches between the ages of 17 and 26, 28, somewhere around there. Little bitch said, I hope you don't expect me to pray for him. And yes, I did report that bitch's post. That's one of the few times I do that because I don't need to be out there. Because somebody else see that shit from a different culture and they be like, oh, they don't even care about him. Might as well keep killing them. These little bitches that y'all are raising are some of the most dangerous little bitches in America right now. Because these little bitches think that everything revolves around them. Everything revolves around these little half-wittingly, weave-wearing, heavy makeup-wearing, barely can speak English correctly, fucking nigga accent ass bitches. And none of y'all will say anything about them. And these little bitches are growing up now. They really think they're entitled. Some of these bitches think they're more entitled than white women. They think they're on the same elk as white women until white women let them know, no, bitch, you're not like me. That's why they going out and getting blonde weaves and shit. I just had a conversation yesterday, and it wasn't an argument at all because I love this person to death that I was talking to. But I had a conversation with her, and I said, the last black female that I remember that took the moniker under of a black female was Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown. Every other chick after that, Suki Hana, Nicki Minaj, Asia Doll, Cuban Doll. Are y'all following me here? You understand what I'm saying? They take a moniker of everybody else as a stage name except for motherfuckers from their own culture. See, what in reality is this. Let's keep it a buck. Most people, if you walk them into the room and you ask them, do they want to date a black girl or even a Latin girl nowadays, they're going to say, no, I'll fuck one of them, but I don't want to fucking marry one of them. You don't believe me? Ben Affleck had to come back a second time after he went and married a white bitch, and after he dissed Jennifer Lopez, and then came back a second time with her desperate ass, and then got married this recently. Family up here in Boston wasn't having that shit. You gonna bring a motherfucking Latina to this house in this Irish fucking Catholic house. If you don't know nothing about Boston, I know about Fall River. I know about all that shit up there. I hung out there, got friends up there. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. They don't play that shit up there. You can bring somebody black to your house, to an Irish family, before you bring somebody. They beef up there with each other, the Irish and the Ricans up there. They beef with each other heavily. So, and have so for years. You don't believe me? Ask Benzino. Benzino's Cape Verdean. It's not Latino, it's North African, but they were under Portuguese rule. So they look like they're Latino, but they're actually African. Cape Verdean. It's the same thing that Amber Rose is. She's a Cape Verdean. These girls don't take any pride in who they are. What they do is they go out of their way, and everyone wants to. Let me take this right here, because of course you're not going to have but a handful of black. They only want to hear gossip, but I'm not going to gossip with you. I'm going to tell you the fucking truth. These bitches, they sit around and they want to pretend like they're white women, but you'll never be a white girl. Just like I'll never be a white man and don't want to be. No disrespect intended. But I'm very comfortable in my skin, as you can see. I'm a good-looking motherfucker. I've always gotten women. You understand what I'm saying? I will continue to get women. I've always gotten money. I'm trying to build myself back up right now, but the crabs in the barrel culture will not allow that, because I'm not here talking down on the culture. You know, that's the premium way to bring in the economy. You have to talk about the people that are within your culture. If you talk about the people that are outside your culture, there ain't no money in that within the culture. Isn't that confusing? You know what I'm saying? You know, there's only money in YouTube if you talk about other people of color and you talk down on them or plot on their demise or lie a lot. So Mama Lisa came in here, and I'm gonna make sure I screenshot you, because I'm gonna put this up, because you try to embarrass me, so I'm gonna embarrass you. And I know I got more of a reach than you do. So let's make sure we screenshot her shit. All right, so the problem is, you have an economy that is based on the demise of Black and Latin people online nowadays. And since you got so many shitty people in the world, basically what happens is those viewers, they come in and they only donate the shitty material. So you have to be talking about somebody. You have to be cursing down on somebody. You have to be praying on somebody's demise, as I talked earlier about Jaguar, Wright. Well, they're now leapfrogging, and now they're hoping for the demise of regular motherfuckers like Ralph, this little young 16-year-old boy who was shot in the head and the chest unjustifiably because an 84-year-old motherfucker felt that was the best thing to do. Now, living in the neighborhood that he was in, and what I can see of that little itty-bitty ass house, that man that shot Ralph ain't did much in life. And I keep trying to tell y'all that. Listen, have y'all seen some of the pictures of the houses I've been in, the houses I've not been in, but partied in, stayed in, spent the night in, every fucking thing else? Literally, like real mansions. Not somebody be like, oh, they live in a mansion. No, I was in a real mansion in Atlanta, in California, in Miami. You understand? Real mansions. You understand what I'm saying? That one place I was at had 2 fucking Olympic-sized pools. So when I see shit like that, it goes to show you why you have to, at a certain age range, you have to stay away. I'm gonna say if a motherfucker's like 50 years old and they stuck at a camp of making only $20, $25 an hour or $30, $35 an hour, and they embracing that, and they've never had a college degree. I have a college degree. If they've never worked in a industry or a job that they seen more than $100,000 a year, you need to stay the fuck away from those people. Because what they're hiding in their little personality and everything is them being unaccomplished in comparison to other people. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll make this presumptuous tone and believing that they have more to you based off silly elements within their life. Oh, well, this person's this color. They can't have as much as me. Or how is this person I've always lived in white neighborhoods mostly. I make no fracks about that or whatever. I lived by the beach for fucking 10 years. Before that, I lived in a nice place. I've always lived in nice places. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, my parent and then parents made sure that we lived the best. The last place I lived with my mother had a fucking working fireplace, fucking Olympic-sized pool, tennis court, sauna, and there was a golf course built around it. They were corporate apartments. I've never lived in the projects or whatever. I fucked with a girl in the projects. I stayed there with her for a couple months, but I never had no address in the projects. My mother never had no address in the projects, and my father never had no address in the projects. Always had my own fucking room. So when I see these little bitches that did, and nobody's saying nothing to them, and everybody wants to sit around and act like these little bitches are so innocent, let me tell you something. These little conniving ass bitches are out for authority. Okay? They want to shame you or manipulate you into believing something that is not there. And what I would do instead is, and I want the rest of y'all to do this. If you see one of these little bitches off of YouTube, on Instagram, or any other favorite social media sites, making a post about that young boy, Ralph Young, you know what I want you to do? I want you to flag those bitches. And anybody that's within that comment section, flag them motherfuckers too. Because it's got to stop. Because what you're doing is you're setting up something that you don't understand what you're doing. When you're telling people, you're developing a mentality. And what you're doing is, some of you larger influencers anyway, what you're doing is you're telling the world, when it comes to this young little boy that got shot in the head, that got shot in the chest by this old ass cracker, what you're telling them is, and I'm going to say it just like it is, this is poor white trash cracker. And that's what I hate about immigrants. Y'all go side with poor white trash crackers, and white people don't even talk to poor white trash crackers. How do I know? Because my next door neighbor worked at fucking Yale for years. I had another neighbor that worked at Plum Island. I lived on fucking Pequot Avenue in a condo. And that was my second condo in my youth. You understand what I'm saying? So, and before that, I was in another place called Gold Harbor Condominiums for years. So I know the difference. Trust me. I barely had a black or Latin neighbor. If I saw a black or Latin neighbor, it was a fucking surprise to me. I'm like, oh shit, it's another one of us down here? I'm being honest with you. I didn't. You understand what I'm saying? So even the last place I lived, it was the last 2 years that I lived in. It was a young lady that I knew. Her name was Gabrielle. Shout out to her. I don't know what happened to her, but she was a black female, and she came from the baking industry. You understand what I'm saying? So I lived in very affluent neighborhoods. I tell you once again, this is the shittiest place I've ever lived in my whole entire life. So I'm telling you guys this for this reason. When you get these fucking little young whores, because that's what you are. A lot of you little young whores are teen moms. See, these are teen moms, dropouts. We don't talk about that, how many of these little bitches are dropouts and shit. There's a whole bunch of these little bitches that be online every day, and you taking everything they say for face value. This bitch is a high school dropout. And now she's 25, 30, 35 years old. She got 2 or 3 side kids, or whatever the case may be, but ain't got a fucking lick of education. She can't even articulate words correctly. She guessing how to say the words. You could tell by that motherfucking frame online. You got these little whores that are online, and these dumbass simp little boys, because they were raised by a bitch. They was raised by a bitch. You understand what I'm saying? I can't stand being around. I tell y'all this all the time. I don't like being around no men that are short men. I don't hang with no short men. Stay away from short men if you're a tall man. It's always going to be a competition. The motherfuckers always going to have a low self-esteem. And unless they get that surgery to grow, they always going to be a pump motherfucker. Stay away from short men. Short men are a hazard to life. And the second motherfucker is an unaccomplished bitch. They got 3 or 4 motherfucking side kids and don't know what to do. And everything is everybody else's fault. She got pregnant. Didn't ask the dude to wear a condom. Wasn't on birth control. But it's that nigga's fault. He forced your legs open, right? Get the fuck out of here. In those cases that did happen, I'm sorry to you ladies, and I apologize if I insulted you. But for the bulk of them that didn't happen like that, you bitches ought to be ashamed of yourself. These little bitches are online now, and they're influencing these little half ugly ass motherfucking guys out here. This is why I try to tell you. Stay away from ugly motherfucking guys, stay away from short men, and stay away from bitches and gossip. That's the best 3 things I can tell you. Stay away from bitches and gossip. Stay away from short men if you ain't short. And stay away from ugly men if you ain't ugly. They're going to be your 3 hazards right there. And then the 4th one, and a tie with number 3, is a ugly bitch. Oh, there ain't nothing worse than an ugly bitch. Oh, boy, I ain't had many of arguments with an ugly bitch. An ugly bitch or a subpar looking bitch. Meaning a bitch that she's all right looking, but in her mind, she's ugly in comparison to real good-looking bitches. You understand what I'm saying? I say this shit all the time. I know it from being in Miami, Cali, and everywhere else. It be these bitches that be 3s and 4s. You a bad bitch until some real bad bitches walk in the room. Now you the 3 or 4 you are with makeup and weave that you really are. You a bad bitch. This is a common phrase we use in Miami. You a bad bitch until other bad bitches walk in the room. You a bad bitch till real bad bitches walk in the room. You understand what I'm saying? A real bad bitch is some bitches from Africa, from Brazil, that been eating bananas and pineapple and mango and guava and all that shit and tamarind been in their whole diet for their whole year. You know what I'm saying? And they walking in and tú sabes la culo grande and la tetas aquí, you know what I'm like, and then back and they're sitting straight and la pelo ahí se o la molios a la, and then they sitting there and they looking at you like, yo, hi, and you madder than a motherfucker. Unless that bitch is your wife, stay away from ugly bitches. They'll mean you no good. Stay away from ugly dudes. An ugly dude is the worst. An ugly dude, you ever notice that every dude, if you lived in a hood or some shit like that or whatever, just been around, you'll notice something. An ugly motherfucker always bragging about what they got. Well, a good-looking motherfucker ain't got to do that. Ugly motherfuckers always bragging about what they got. Ugly motherfucker always willing to pay for a girl's drink or whatever, don't even fucking know him. This bitch could be a fucking robber, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? This bitch could be the setup artist for everybody. And you feeding this bitch drinks. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. You know what I mean? I never like a sucker motherfucker like that. Sucker motherfucker like that, you go out with him, he'll end up spending you $1,000 on some shit you could have got for free. Never trust a sucker motherfucker like that. And short men are exactly the same as ugly men. They're going to try to pay their way through everything because they ugly and they short, especially an ugly short motherfucker. These are the leading motherfuckers that are online telling you shouldn't have any compassion for Ralph Yarl, that young boy that was 16 years old. You shouldn't have any compassion for him. And I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? We're picking what stories we're going to go with. I thought this was the whole team. No, it's not the whole team. The shit that y'all have confused right now is, and maybe I'm saying this because I'm having a half or whatever, and it's going to be weird to y'all. But what you're dealing with is what you really saw 15, 20 years ago. You just didn't pay attention to it. They don't give a fuck about you within your own culture. They'll smile, they grin with you, or whatever. There's an opportunity there. That's why I hate fake smiles and hate fake grins with motherfuckers. And sometimes, I say 80% of the time, I'll pretend like I don't see it. Because I pretend that I don't see it because I want to see if you continue the same behavior. And I'm hoping that I'm gaming for you to continue the same behavior. Because of pure simple fact, I got a placement for you. Little do you know, I got a placement for you. But it's just sick. So, I want to tell this little boy who could have been my son It could have been my nephew. I have a nephew. Hey, Silas. That's my nephew. He's in California. I love him to death. I haven't seen him in a very long time, but hey, Silas. This could have been my nephew that this happened to. And this old 84-year-old cracker motherfucker, fuck you. And like I said, I think that 85-year-old motherfucker needs y'all help, ladies and gentlemen, Black and Latin America. I think what you should do is, I think you guys should go down there and help him out, bail him out of jail. He needs your help, people, because evidently y'all rather help that motherfucker and you're on his side versus the 16-year-old that got shot by this cracker motherfucker. I want y'all to go over there and I want y'all to bail him out and help him out. Then I want you to just hand him over to some friends and go and let them have drinks and dinner by the bridge. And I want you to get a big boulder and set that big boulder up, put the plates and the course and the dinner and the candles if you need them. It might not be a lit area. And after you're all said and done, clean the rock, makeshift table, and throw that rock in the water. That's all. Guys, that's my time. Fuck that 84-year-old fucker. Hopefully y'all been encouraged. Hopefully I taught you guys something about the music industry that you didn't know, or you think that it didn't make sense and you just don't understand. Whatever the fuck case is, I don't care either way. You know, people don't help me. But I seemingly all through life have helped people, you know. That's just going to change. I'm not worried about it. God see that through, you know. I've done a lot of good things for people. Guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App for those that did donate. I appreciate you guys. $sign STRINGERBELL80. That's Stringerbell80 on Cash App. It's also a PayPal link in the description box. Make sure y'all hit that up. Support Mama Lisa. I'm not going to block you yet. I'm going to see because I can't go in detail on Cash. I'm going to see if you donated or whatever. But Mama, if you did, you ain't got to say that. No, just sit back and watch the show and don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do that to be in my chat room because if you didn't donate, I'm going to block your ass anyway. They ain't going to see it on the replay. So, anyway, y'all, I will see y'all later. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourself.